Hello and welcome to the 2019 Battle of Hastings Finals. I'm Scotty Cranmer. I'm joined alongside one of my longtime idols, legend in BMX, Mr. Chris Doyle. Chris, how you doing here at Battle of Hastings this year?
Man, super excited to be here with you again, doing the live stream. This is going to be a lot of fun today.
So we're going into the finals. There's been a lot of competitions that have happened on the course of this weekend so far that's leading to this moment. There's going to be 5 teams that are going to be battling it out in this one. Each team is going to have their own heat. They all get to ride with each other, feed off each other's energy, and they get to put down their best runs today. But we have a stacked group, and the energy all this weekend has just been insane. From the plaza edits, from the qualifying, from the best trick we saw yesterday. Like, it was absolutely insane, and this is going to show up and guarantee just epic riding. So now it's time to talk about the overall team standings. Like I said earlier, there is 5 teams that made it in today's final, and the teams were epic. They absolutely went nuts out there on the course. We're going to go over all the guys right now and show you who you were looking for. And there's a star-studded list right now. As you can see, the team captains right here, we have the first heat, we have Ollie Shields, we have Matt Ray, Declan Brooks, Isaac Lesser. The next heat in is going to be Brock Olive, Jackman Hins, Kalen Suberts, Boyd Hilder. Heat 3 will be Sam Jones, Alex Donachie, Alex Hyam, and Dan Paley. Heat 4 will be Dan Lacey, Garrett Reynolds, Bruno Hoffman, and Lewis Mills. And the final heat that you guys will see is Simone Baracco, Courage Adams, Tom Justice, and Sergio Leos. So out of those 5 teams, there was team captains that picked each one of those riders to be on their team specifically. And as you can see, these guys are all the best of the best in BMX. We have guys like Courage Adams, who's a street master, but then you have guys like Tom Justice. Who on this list sticks out to you, Chris?
Man, it's hard to find fault in any of these guys, really. But I mean, I'm looking at a guy like Tom Justice. A lot of people are talking about him this weekend. He's been, I think, the most talked about rider. And then, of course, Courage Adams. And there's a variety of people. We got guys like Matt Ray, Declan Brooks. I mean, all these guys could really pull out the stops today.
And a lot of the guys you mentioned, we were sitting in here yesterday when we did the best trick, and we were watching Matt Ray throw out crazy tricks. We were watching Courage Adams and Tom Justice. And all the guys, really. So let's lead on. We'll get this contest going soon. So let's talk about what to expect today. There is going to be some serious riding from these guys like we talked about earlier. Chris, what is the format? How this is going to work?
Well, each heat has their own jam session. So each rider from each heat gets 3 visits to the course. 2 of those visits are like more of the run style that we're used to, and then the last visit to the course is best trick. However, these riders can try as many best tricks as they want, but only the first 2 attempts for best trick are going to count. So after those 2 attempts, the judges kind of have to look away. But we have a good variety of judges. These judges know what to look for. We have guys like Mark Losi, who's been in the industry for over 30 years now. We have your brother-in-law, Trey Jones.
Yeah.
So these judges really know what they're looking for. They all ride. They're all industry icons or riders themselves.
And a wide variety as well. You know,
Absolutely.
they have Axel Jurgens, they have street guys. It's amazing. They're picking the best judges because this is a full-on, competition where it's bowls and it's also the street as well. So you can see the judges up there, and Ruben Alcantara, the legend, he is a judge as well. I mean, if I was riding, I would be looking up at Ruben being like, man, I got to impress this guy. Good luck.
Yeah, it's got to be crazy to have a judge here like Ruben that could arguably ride the bowl as good, if not better, than some of the competitors in the contest. So the guy's got to be thinking about that at the same time.
There's no doubt about it. So as you can see, that live feed right there, everybody inside that building is on the edge of their seat. They are ready to get this started. We're going to be talking about the guys that are going to be riding today because there's so many big names on this list. If you look at this, it's like the who's who of BMX right here. You have guys that are from the streets, you guys have guys that are from the parks. So check out Heat 1 right here. We have Ollie Shields, we have Matt Ray, we have Declan Brooks, and we have Isaac Lesser. Isaac Lesser actually rode last year. He was a fill-in, and he did fantastic. So the fact that he was able to be in another heat and he's making it to the finals again, pretty amazing.
And we got a guy like Matt Ray who really stood out in our best trick competition with the 720 double bar spin to fakie. Yeah, you heard me right. That's what he did for best trick. Absolutely incredible, super high and smooth, classic Matt Ray style.
It was perfect as well. Like he landed, like there was no problem at all. Like it was a regular truck to fakie, but that's Matt Ray for you. So we're gonna be heading on to getting this thing started soon. So guys, stay tuned. You can see Daryl now and Andy Zeiss right now getting the crowd even more excited than they possibly are. I don't know how that's going to happen because they know exactly what they're in store for right now. We are getting ready to drop heat number 1 and get things started. Like we said earlier, we have Ollie Shields, Matt Ray, Declan Brooke, and Isaac Lesser. Chris said about the format. The format is going to be so interesting in this one with that final trick. So that final trick, you are going to see the craziest things possible that these guys will be bringing out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In the first, it's never easy to be in that first heat because these guys are really setting the stage for the rest of today's contest. And one thing I want to mention here, this is an interesting little behind-the-scenes fact, is Ollie Shields, Declan Brooks, and Isaac Lesser all did all the stunts for the Mary Poppins movie that was filmed in London last year. So I was talking with Declan a little bit about that today. It was really interesting to get his take on the whole thing and how he was able to make a few bucks being a stuntman there for a little while.
How cool is that? It looks like we're getting things started with the man himself, Ollie Shields, pumping around this bowl. And what's so cool about Ollie Shields, he was actually the guy that rode in the Park Plaza edits for his team. He did amazing, had so many technical lines with his pegs to nose manuals and whatnot. So look at him going around this bowl corner setup like no problem though, like he belongs here.
And you got to keep in mind, in the preliminary events, only 2 of the guys from the team could ride, but now we have all 4 of the competitors on the course, and they each have their own runs. They can do their own thing. So it's a little bit different of a format from the prelims. But we are in and we are going. And like I said, it's never easy to be in that first heat. It's never easy to be the first guy. So you kind of feel for Ollie Shields a little bit. I mean, he's kind of setting the stage for how the rest of this contest is going to go.
No, that is the truth right there. So Ollie had a couple of mess-ups in that run. He tried to go for the tires across the A-frame rail, and he actually slipped off, had to take his feet off, but you know what? First one's the worst one, they usually say. So he's the team captain, right? He's got to lead his way through this. Actually, he's not the team captain. I take that back. Isaac Lesser, he's going to be the final one in there. But you know what? He's there to make his team captain proud, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I have to wonder. I got to wonder when Daryl now is packing his bag to come on a trip, how does he decide what shirt he's going to wear and what fanny pack that he's going to throw in his bag with him? That's the type of thing that I wonder watching a contest like this sometimes.
I spoke with Daryl about his outfits, and he said that he has some outfits that he hasn't worn in like 10 or 15 years that he's still waiting to wear for the first time. It's impressive.
Got him in the stockpile. Matt Ray is on the course. 270 bar spin drop in, showing you the suicide no-hander. Matt Ray is on course. And this is a guy that you really like, and it's a guy that sometimes it seems like it's hard for a guy like Matt Ray to even mess up.
It's crazy, and my favorite thing about Matt is he looks so confident on everything he does. He looks like he's been there and he's done that, which is really, really cool to see. And not talking about just riding the bowl, but also, oh, look at that, 540 double truck. And it's crazy, he even did more of a rotation in the best trick yesterday, which is nuts. But like I was saying earlier, he rides everything. You know, look at that. Nollie to pegs to hard 180 onto the street section, but he's also doing 540 double bar spins in the bowl. Like, that's nuts.
He's definitely a versatile rider, a guy that can ride a little bit of everything. And what I love about him is he's just, it's like you said, you talked about the confidence. When he throws those bars, there's no doubt that he's going to catch them. When he does a trick, like, it's like a 99.9% that he's going to pull it. And he knows it. You see the confidence in his riding. You see the confidence in his face. And even his body language. I mean, he has what it takes to have longevity in a sport like this and to just stick around for a very long time.
I totally agree. One other thing I want to talk about Matt Ray before the next rider drops. A couple months ago, he was in Florida with me, and he threw a 1080 over the box jump because we dared him. That really did happen. So here we go, Declan Brooks. He is from England. This guy is flying. He was killing it yesterday. So many fast lines. Look at that wall ride transfer from bowl to bowl, pumping around the corners. He's got such a great style, and his trick list is so deep. Look at that nice bar spin, the bar spin into that vert wall.
Declan is a guy I've been seeing ride all weekend. Oh, coming off the back a little bit there. And I think he does better in the practice than he does in the contest. I think he gets a little bit nervous because it looks like he's riding a little bit slower than usual and maybe not taking as many chances. But in practice, other BMXers will understand when I'm saying this, he was winning practice every run.
Well, so far he's doing all right, though. He's got great flow around the course, and he's using speed around the whole course, which is pretty cool to see. Going through that street section, wall riding across that Source BMX wall over that hump that was there. Like, that was an awesome line.
The judges like it when you can cover a lot of ground in a short amount of time, and you saw that speed and how he went from one end of the park to the other. That's what the judges really look for.
All right, here goes Isaac Lesser. He came in as a wild card last year, and he put on a demo. Look at him using the pegs on the top of the wall, bringing the speed around. He's got a really unique to the course. I love that pullout he just did right there, Chris.
Yeah, and wow, that's a second suicide no-hander over that gap that we've seen. It's good to see.
Pretty crazy to talk about, isn't it?
Yeah, the suicide no-hander's coming back. Isaac Lesser. I met this guy in Berlin, Germany, back in 2008, and they had gotten to the contest. He had no money. He blew his seat up, and he used sponges. He duct taped a bunch of sponges and used that as his seat, but he was there. He's riding the contest. He actually did really well, and he's always a guy truck driver.
That was big.
Into the deep bowl, alley-oop style.
Jeez, that was huge right there. Looks like he's got a solid seat on today, so I guess he can credit that truck driver right there. But that was a nice run from Isaac. I really like the alley-oop truck driver from that quarter pipe that he's standing on right now. I saw him doing the 360 in qualifying yesterday. He had a pretty dive, so it's good to see him up the ante and throw the bar spin in there as well.
Well, and I got to mention, last year he did that alley-oop 3 into that bowl with the tail whip too. So it'll be interesting to see if he does that in the next run or for perhaps best trick.
So we are back up to the top right now. We have Ollie Shields dropping in, and it's awesome to see Ollie riding both. As we were saying earlier, he did the Park Plaza edit, which he did amazing as well. And he's coming in here to the bowl, and he's riding it like a professional. So it's cool to see how versatile these guys are.
Yeah, and it would be easy for Ollie just to kind of stay on that more street side and just kind of let the other guys handle the bowl section. But you got to give it to him for riding a little bit of everything and showing the versatility. Check it out, riding up and down that A-frame rail.
Wow, that was heavy right there. That's the trick that he messed up on in run number 1. And he's so good at doing the tire rides. You know, in his Park Plaza edit, he had so many good ones as well. So cool to see him get that one. That's a huge trick. So we're going to be wrapping up this run. He's going to be sending in the next rider. And the way that this works, we're going to remind you guys once again, they have 2 runs that are 50-second max. The third run is final trick. So that means Ollie now has to start thinking, all right, final trick. I have to get a trick that I can land. It's going to be huge. It's going to put up a good score for my team. But I need to get a trick that I could potentially land in 2 tries to be able to get that points needed.
Yeah, it's because like we said, only those first 2 attempts are going to count.
So here comes Darryl calling the next one in. It's going to be Matt Ray. Matt Ray had an awesome first run, very consistent, so many big tricks.
Starting off in the same way with that 270 bar spin, and then there's that suicide that a lot of these guys in this heat are doing. Bar spin to bar spin back 270. It's like he throws those bars so clean and he catches them so well.
Yeah, we were talking about it yesterday. It's like nothing moves except for his wrist when he throws his bar spins. Like, look at that, 3 of them right there in a split second. And he's just so confident when he does it. It's nuts. See, he's going back to the 720 quarter. Ooh, 540 truck this time. I wonder if he was eyeing up something else or not.
Yeah, perhaps. Maybe do the best trick that he did yesterday, the 720 with the double bar, put it in a run. How crazy would that be? It's crazy to see him do a 540 bar spin and be unhappy about it.
Right.
Because anyone else would be like celebrating, right?
And especially at that height as well. That was not, holding back at all. He went probably a good 5 feet out of it. So moving on to the next rider. It's going to be Declan Brooks. He's bringing the speed. He's got the nerves out from run number 1. You always go into run number 2 way more confident. Your body feels better. You feel loose. You feel ready for this. So let's see if this works for him.
And ladies and gentlemen, watch how much ground Declan Brooks will cover during his run. And he keeps the speed going the entire time. That is so important, and the judges, again, really like that.
Great speed at all times with Declan. Pumping across the monster wall, getting that. Oh, there's that double bar spin transfer again. And that's an awkward wall to land in right there. It's a vert wall, but it's got like a ton of vert, and then it goes to a flat spot like that's in it. So that's not easy to be riding into right there, but he did it no problem. And he landed the backflip that he looped out in run number 1.
Oh, I love the straight double truck driver. Up and over that. Guys are just using that like it's a box jump. But you have to keep in mind these guys are landing into a transition, and it's a very shallow transition as well. So, you're off by an inch on the top, you case it. You're inch off on the bottom, you land flat. So you really have to strive for perfection to land well on that. I really love the straight double truck driver. Kind of like an old school trick now, huh?
It's old school, but I think it's becoming, back into play because guys are starting to raise their seats more. They're able to pinch the seat, throw them. I'll be honest, Chris Doyle inspired me to do it. I raised up my seat for a while. I was doing the double bar spin, so it's good to see it coming back.
Yeah, Isaac Lesser back on course.
He's bringing the speed right now. Let's see what he's got, Chris.
Yes, up and on that Vans wall, dropping back in. What I like about Isaac is he's come out here the last 2 Battle of Hastings and just kind of like been on someone else's team. And then this year, they're like, well, he always comes and he shreds, so let's make him a team captain. And I know for a fact that Isaac was just so excited about it. I saw him at the hotel, and he's like, I'm just buzzing just to be a captain here. It means so much to him. And here he is in the finals.
So awesome to see. And look at that. Oh, 360. That one got a little off balance right there, but he pulled in and landed smooth. But he did do a really cool peg stall on that wall where all the guys were hanging out right there. Glad nobody's fingers were on that thing. That would have been a little weird. Nice can-can foot jam right there to finish things off. All right, so we are going into the third hits on the course. This is going to be the final trick time. This is where things get interesting.
Yeah, this is, you never know what these guys have up their sleeves, but I mean, they have they have as many attempts as they want. I mean, really, this is a jam contest. This is a BMX contest where they can, if they want to pull it, they can take as many tries as they want. However, for the judges, only the first 2 attempts are going to count. But, say they don't pull it in those first 2 attempts, they can keep going and just do it for the crowd. Do it for us. Do it for you at home watching on the live stream. So it's going to be really fun, really interesting to see. Ollie Shields looks to be our first guy up. And remember, they're not pigeonholed to like 1 or 2 obstacles. They can choose anywhere on the course for their best trick.
It looks like Ollie's going to be in the street section now, so let's see if he's going to go for something pretty technical, or maybe he's getting speed to go to the bowl. We'll find out. Oh, it looks like he's going for pegs on that vert wall right there. Wonder what he's got in mind.
Well, yeah, I mean, I haven't seen him in practice get on that wall at all. I haven't really, seen him mess too much with that sort of thing. So maybe he's just going to wave that off and maybe think about something else. But it'll be interesting to see what he's got.
Because it's all about the mental game when you're coming into a final trick opportunity like this. You're doing something that's big. You're doing something that is scary. But it's those moments in BMX that make the elite pros what they are. They're able to step up and they're able to conquer it. We've all been there. Chris, you've been there before.
Yeah.
I'm like thinking back to right now, like when you did that tail cover across. It was like the stairs with the big bank. That had been terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like he's going for a Smith up top. Oh, he's waving it off right there. So
that's his 2 attempts. But should he really, really want to pull that for the crowd, pull it for us, he can still do that if he wants. But yeah, for the judges, that they have to look at those first 2 attempts and judge based on that.
All right, well, we're going to find out shortly if Ollie wants to keep on going, if we're going to move on to Matt Ray and see what he's going to be bringing for his final trick. And like we talked about Matt earlier, we've been praising him nonstop, but we do not know where he's going to go. And I can see by that hand gesture right there, it looks like he's deciding.
Yeah, he doesn't even know himself.
He can ride the bowl. He can ride the street stuff. It looks like right there, I'm just going to go off of my instincts, it looks like we're going to get some kind of bar spin combo because he just kind of like act like he was spinning and throwing the bar spin right there. So, and that's kind of what he did yesterday. So I'd be really surprised if he tried to do that again. But it could be something different though.
Yeah. It looks like he's just kind of looking at the course, seeing what he wants. Maybe do that same trick that he did yesterday, the 720 with the double bar. I don't know, but he's definitely, he definitely likes the bar spin tricks, doesn't he?
If you're good at something, man, here it is. All right, the 540 double bar. So I'm curious now. Because he did the trick yesterday, and that counted for his score. Like that's what got them to the finals, was Matt being involved in the best trick. First place got 12 points, last place got 1 point. So Matt was able to get enough points to get his team into the finals. So he's back on the same exact quarter, and he's warming up with the same trick that he did when he did the 720 double bar spin. So I'm really curious and interested to see what we're about to get right now. But he might be going for something different. And he did. He went for the 540 triple bar spin. Oh my God,
wow.
That's insane.
540 triple bar spin, like it was nothing. Like made it look so crisp and clean, catching the bars each time, just throw. Like unreal. Like he's really something special. I mean, he's coming hot off the heels of that silver medal at the X Games, getting second to Garrett Reynolds, which in and of itself is kind of like winning. And then you come to an event like this and you put on a show like you have all weekend. Like Matt's he's at the beginning of a big career, I think.
I totally agree with you. Here comes Declan, bringing in some speed, pumping around the bowl. Looks like we're going to get something big, Chris.
Well, I've been seeing him do this line, but I saw him feeling that out in practice a little bit. Just using that foot to scuff off some speed on that nose wheelie.
That's a big Vader up there. I was never good at this trick, so every time I see somebody do this, it's like magic.
Check him out.
Oh,
nose wheelie.
Oh, and he's got it. That's a big drop off the front wheel right there. Look at the team coming through right now.
That was big. It was technical. It was dangerous. That was really cool.
That's what the judges want to see for sure. But we have the captain now. The captain is going to be showing up. Let's see what he's going to be bringing. Maybe he's going to go for that alley-oop 360 whip that we were talking about.
But again, you talk about tricks that these judges have seen these riders do. Does it hurt them at all if the judges know that he's going to do that alley-oop 360 tail whip? Does that hurt them? Hurt the rider because the judges are kind of just expecting it?
I feel like it does, but we could be looking at something different. We'll find out right now. We might be counting our chickens before they hatch with him.
Yeah, maybe he's going back
bringing
towards
speed to the wall. Ice pick.
Going for that ice pick.
Oh, he's got the ice pick on the wall first try. And he did a double peg on that one, so that definitely upped his ante. Cool, so it looks like Isaac Lester's team got 3 final tricks done, and they were all great tricks in their own right. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It's cool to see a younger guy like Isaac Lester still, kind of paying homage to the older guys, because we used to do all that stuff, like the fufunus on the walls, the ice picks on the walls. So it's cool to see a little bit more of like an old style, I think.
Yeah, so that's heat number 1. We'll catch you guys in a second.
Looking good, bro.
Andy, we are a few minutes away from getting our party started.
And welcome back, guys. I hope you enjoyed that Plaza edit for Lewis Mills and Bruno Hoffman. As you can see, that was high enough level riding to get them into the finals by far. The tire ride to tail whip down the rail, that full cab 360 whip that he did over the A-frame was insane, Chris. But we're getting ready to drop heat number 2. The guys are currently practicing on the course, getting warmed up, getting ready to go, because we have a stacked group of riders that are about to drop. Who exactly is coming in, Chris?
Well, we got Brock Olive. This is like Team Australia. We got Brock Olive, Jackman Hins, Kalen Stibbards, Boyd Hilder. Boyd Hilder coming hot off the heels of that Nora Cup that he won just last night for the Reader's Choice Award. I mean, How good is he feeling right now?
Oh, unbelievable. I was so happy to see Boyd get that one because Boyd, in my opinion, is one of the best all-around riders in the world right now. He can ride absolutely everything, and, you know, people are recognizing that now. Everybody around the world is recognizing that, and he's a captain this year. Well-deserving because he absolutely killed it last year, and what we were seeing from his team was awesome in qualifying. I saw a trick that Kalen did that literally blew my mind. I was joking around last year, and I said, hey, imagine if somebody did a gap to double tie ride across that. And I come in, I swear to you, I was getting my hair cut, I come around the corner, and the first trick I see is him do that one, and it was the wildest thing ever. So we're going to see what happens because the heat is coming up right now.
Well, yeah, and you see Daryl now out there hyping up the crowd, hyping up the heat number 2. Boyd Hilders, as a team captain, he said, you know, he just wanted to bring his friends out. So this is a really tight crew. Brock Olive, Jackman Hins, Kalen Stibberts, these are all really good friends out here. So it's really cool. And you know how that is when you can bring your friends along for the ride. So here we go. We got Brock Olive in.
Oh, look at that already. Are you kidding me? A double tie ride to backlash all the way around and landing perfectly in that bank. It's awesome to see Brock here. I've been a fan of his riding for a while. He's super technical. He's got such an original style as well. His approach to riding is one of his own.
Yeah, and he's got one of the best toboggans in the business. And hopefully he shows us a few. They're showing you that opposite whip right there. Coming in at about 7'5" and about 170 pounds. I mean, he's got a ton of leverage over that bike.
Yeah, you know what? It's like, why ride basketball when you can do tricks like this?
And for the record, I'm joking. He's not 7'5".
You know what? You had me there for a second, though.
Well,
Well, honestly, how old? He's probably like, what, 6'4", though, at least,
I'm
right?
6'3", and I was looking up at him when we were talking.
He's a big dude, for sure. But he had a good run to the course right there, especially because he was riding a lot of the street course. And when you ride that street course section, that's all about technical stuff. So there's a lot more room for error in that area than, you know, there would be in the bowl, technically. So next one to be dropping in is going to be Jackman Hins. Let's see what he brings to this course right now.
Yeah, really cool to see some fresh faces out here. I mean, kudos to Boyd. Could have invited anybody that he wanted, and he just brings his boys over. So to see like some new faces out here, some guys that we're not as familiar with. Check out that double tire ride to tail up off. Did you see the way he was switching his pedals?
Feet. Yeah.
Wow.
I've never seen anybody do that mid-double tire ride, switch their feet. So what I'm curious about, I want to know if that was an opposite tail whip or if it was regular. I mean, judging by the way he's riding, oh, here we go, switching it again and going for the tail whip and going back.
Huh.
So very interesting. And the reason why me and Chris aren't too sure is because, like Chris was saying earlier, he's brought his friends out here. These are fresh new faces that we haven't got to see.
Yeah, so we don't really know these guys' tendencies a lot. But it looks to me like he throws the bars with his right foot forward, and he does tails with his left foot forward.
Yeah.
So street riding in general is just so technical nowadays. It's hard to tell because everyone's switching their feet. They're doing things on both sides of the bike. And again, we don't really know Jackman that well, but hey, I think we're going to be hearing more and more of him in the future. This could be like, you know, his big coming out contest, like the contest where he starts to make his name.
Well, he's made it into the finals already, so I think he's already done that. But moving on, this is the guy I was talking about that did the crazy gap to double tire ride. This is Kalen Stibberts. I met him yesterday for the first time, and I went right up to him. I told him how amazing it was that he did that gap to double tire ride, and I'm excited to see what he brings to this competition right now because what he did literally was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Look at that.
Yeah.
That was nollie to over pegs on that down rail. That's insane.
A great way to start your run. Look at that, just
man.
super technical all the
Snaggle.
way around. Another tall guy in the seat. I mean, these guys are all above 6 feet. Showing you the backflip
awesome.
over in the street section. Now, Scotty, none of these guys so far have gone into the bowl section. Is that going to hurt them in the judges' eyes?
Not at all. Not at all. Here at the Battle of Hastings, they're bringing the best of the best when it comes to BMX. And as we're saying, he's not going in the bowl. He shows up in there. So, but what we're continuing on, the judges want to see the best riders do what they do best. So they want them to just go on ahead and ride what they want and have fun and do their best tricks. But man, there was some serious technical stuff in there. At the end, he did a pegs to hard 360 off of that A-frame. Man, he is really showing up and putting a statement on this team right now. And we still have the team captain dropping it in. And he rode like a man possessed yesterday. Everything he did was perfect. So let's see if we can see some more of that.
Yeah, and I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. Boyd Hilder is having one of the best years ever, and it just keeps getting better and better, as proven with that Nora Cup last night.
Well deserved for sure.
He's new sponsors and just contest wins. Won simple session earlier in the year.
Look at
And
that
he's showing
line.
you why. Yeah.
Look at that gap in. He went so far from the right side and gapped all the way in. And like Boyd can do it all. He can go fast around this bowl, come up with like the lines he just did. We've only seen Boyd do those lines. Nobody at the Battle of Hastings did the lines that Boyd did right there. But he's able to ride both sides, not just the bowl, not just the street course. He can go to his left. He can go to his right. He could do foot jams on that huge wall, you know, on that opening right there. This guy's the real deal.
He's an all-terrain vehicle. I mean, the guy can ride everything, and he makes it look so effortless and so easy.
Ending it right there with the
that was
Canadian
beautiful.
360 to fakie. Awesome first run for Boyd. A little more than what we saw, you know, more of the same what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, we've come to know what to expect with Boyd. You know he's going to crush it. You know he's going to ride a little bit of everything. He's going to cover a lot of ground. He's going to hit the rails. He's going to hit the transitions. The guy can do it all.
And I'll tell you what, you know, after he won that Nora Cup, he was partying pretty hard last night. I saw him coming in the hotel quite late, you know, and he's showing up like a true professional today.
Well, that's the power of youth. A lot of these guys, they go out, they have a good time, and then they can still crush it at the contest. Me, myself, I never could, but hey, kudos to these guys.
Oh, there it was, Chris.
Brock Olive, showing you that toboggan I was talking about earlier. Just how can you dip a toboggan like that only being that high off the ground? I mean, he was,
that was out of switch pegs over the rail. That was nuts.
Once got the cover of Ride BMX magazine doing a huge toboggan at some banks out in California, and it's just, I love the way he does it. He does it so proper. It looks like he's doing it on a dirt jump.
Great run, though, so far. A lot of unique tricks, a lot of stuff that only Brock is doing right now. So, and I mean, we could say it about this whole team in general. Like, Boyd did such a great job handpicking. I mean, it's his friends, I know that, but like these guys, just being able to give them an opportunity to showcase what they got in front of the BMX world. Everybody who is anybody is at this competition this weekend. All the industry guys, all the riders. Brock, you know, he looks like he's a bit tired already. I think it's been a little while since he had to do two 50-second runs back-to-back. But he still has the final trick, and that shouldn't take too much energy.
And it's a long way here from Australia. So these guys are probably still feeling the jet lag a little bit, probably still feeling some of those late nights that they've been having. But you know what? They're out here, they're shredding, they're showing their individual styles and doing their thing. And they're here in the finals in one of the biggest contests of the year.
Here's Jackman coming in. So much technical riding from this guy. I'm so curious to see some more tail whips, see how he switches his feet. Maybe he'll do a triple bar spin into the bowl this time around.
We haven't really seen him on the transition. Then he drops in and does a triple bar spin.
There's the tail whip again, switching his feet.
Yeah.
But there's the tail whip again, and that was downside that time. So he still switched his feet. So I've never seen somebody switch their feet only for tail whips. But everything that he does, he seems to do, you know, not in a goofy manner. His spins, everything just seemed to be regular. So this is one of the first.
And you have to remember on that first run, well, let's check him out here, showing the opposite feeble to fakie. On that first run, he did a double tire ride, and in the middle of the double tire ride on the rail, he switches his feet. So he's like keeping his balance, switching his feet, and then tail whipped off.
That's a lot to do all in one run. But here's team captain dropping back in, carving in, getting some speed. This guy's the real deal. Looks like he's setting up on top of the wall. That means there's going to be even more speed. Look at Tommy Dugan. Looks like he's got dislocated neck against that concrete pillar over there. Hope his chiropractor is not watching this one. All right, there we go. It was a false start. Boyd was just getting the position. We forgot about Kalen right now. One of my favorite riders of the weekend for sure.
Definitely one of the surprises
Look
of this weekend.
at that right there. And he pulls
He
it.
saves it.
182 backwards over to opposite side. That was nuts on the A-frame. Carving in the bowl. Such great style and control.
Big tricks, big beard, tall guy. Super nice, though. He's kind of an imposing. Oh, look at the flare.
Wow. He's able to even adjust his hat in mid-run right there. That was impressive. See what he brings for his latter part of the run right now.
Wow,
Look
the
at that,
nose
right
press,
there.
the
Nose press
180?
180 is that's serious over that. In a tight area, you got that rail at the bottom, and that quarter right there is not like a standard quarter. It's like got a quick transition at the bottom, and then it's like prolonged and like close to vert but laid back at the top. So very very hard to do.
Yeah, definitely a kooky transition there to come in on fakie, but he rode through it like a man. That was a good showing again from Kalen Stibbards.
Team captain up in the Eagles' nest right now. Let's see if he's going to be dropping in, bringing in some serious heat or not. Yeah, that's a stupid question. Of course he is. Oh, Boyd. Oh, no way. So what's crazy about that is he did that similar line in his best trick yesterday. He did feeble to Smith and then bar spin in across it. And he did it pretty early on in the best trick. And he's like, you know what? That's it for me. And he actually sat out the rest of it, conserving his energy. But Boyd straight back in. Double peg grind across, dropping in, pulling away from that one. Let's see if he can keep the momentum going in the rest of his run and get some points on the board for his team. It was very smart of him to keep on going, though. Some guys, they would be discouraged, and they're like, you know what, I crashed, my run's ruined, that's going to be it for me. But Boyd, not the case. Look at this technical line that he did right there. Canadian nose press on one side, switch Canadian nose press on the other. That's serious stuff right there.
And like so many great riders before him, he's running dreads.
Yeah, but the dread movement is coming back, I swear. But a little later, we're going to see the ultimate dreadlocks when Tom Justice gets on the course, that's for
some
sure.
serious dreadlocks flowing in the air. But, impressive showing from Boyd Hilder, of course. And we know that he was capable of doing the feeble to Smith to bar in. And I think that's what he wanted, put it in his run. That would have been really cool to see. But unfortunate for him, had a little bit of a bobble there. But like you said, he kept it going. So therefore, he didn't just call it. The judges still have something to judge off of.
There's still a chance for sure. And that's all that matters right now, to get on the podium. Now we are on to the final tricks. This is going to be Brock Olive's attempt. Like we're saying earlier, there is 2 attempts at this for the final trick to count towards the score. If they want to keep on going, they can. Ooh, it looks like he's going to go for a tail up to manual down that ledge right there.
It looked like it was going to be a tail up to manual. Had to settle for the double tire ride, but let's see if he's got it. Maybe he'll surprise us a little bit and do something else, like maybe tail up to manual to 180. Who knows?
You never know with these guys. I would be perfectly content with the tail up to manual, though. Tail up manual! Barely getting that one. So this is a tough situation for the judges. It wasn't perfect. His front wheel made it off the ledge, but, it wasn't how he wanted to land it. So, it's like, he will get some recognition for it maybe. I don't know. I'm glad I'm not a judge in this situation. But we're moving on to Jackman Hins right now. See if he switches his feet some more, confuses us. We'll find out.
Yeah, now a lot of times it's not necessarily what you do, it's how you do it. And we saw that with Brock Olive there. I mean, like, he kind of messed up there towards the end. So, yes, he did the manual, but, maybe not up to his standards.
Ooh, bar spin. Might be to a manual on the top part there. It looks like he might have slipped down into an ice pick. That's a serious trick down there. Like, if you think about how wide tires are, how wide the coping is, gapping that far down that A-frame rail, that's a long rail to the bottom. That's got to be at least 6-7 feet from the top. So here we go. Bar spin to manual, but it looks like he might have slid off at the end again. Let's see if he goes for it again. Like we were saying earlier, even though you only get 2 attempts that count towards the judges, you can go as long as you want, really. And the crowd is not going to say anything different. They want to see these guys land their best stuff. There's the bar spin, the manual. That was textbook as well.
That was strictly for the crowd, strictly for the people watching at home. That was the bar spin to manual down the A-frame. That's what he wanted. But you know what? He didn't get it in those first 2 attempts. He did, however, land ice pick, maybe even drop to feeble a little bit. So the judges still have something that they can judge off of.
Oh, here we go. Kalen dropping in. The trick that he did in qualifying, if he did that one for this one, I would be the happiest guy ever in a live stream probably. But the trick he did yesterday, it's so hard to describe what he did because like it wasn't supposed to work and he somehow did it. And I'm curious to see what else he has in store because if that was good enough for yesterday, what's going to be good enough for the final?
Oh, look at this.
Pegs across.
Into that transition across the wall.
He's got a smile on his face. We don't know if that's exactly what he was going for or not. We're going to find out right now. All right, he's talking to the team captain right now. Let's see what he says. That could be it.
Yeah, he's out there.
Yeah, I think it's good. And you know
Yeah.
what? That's a respectable trick.
We haven't seen anyone else do that, so
I
yeah.
was just about to say that. That's
Originality counts for a lot.
probably 12 of vert wall, having that much confidence to grind across that one, and then have enough control, speed, make sure your timing is right to land in that quarter pipe, going dead straight on. That's serious. Team captain on the course, Boyd Hilder. Downside grind around the bowl corner on the sub box. Man, who could we imagine doing that trick right there? Who else could step up and do that one?
The only guy I'm thinking about is Josh Harrington, a guy that had like the downside double pegs completely dialed. And you know what? Like, he kind of reminds me a little bit of Boyd.
Me too.
Check him out.
Of
He
course,
pulls
right?
it.
Yeah, of course he was going to get it in second try. Surprised he didn't get in the first, but that was an awesome trick right there. That was one trick I was never great at. I was always decent at it. I could do it on a quarter pipe, but if you had to tell me to do that on the sub box, no possible way. That I have so much respect for anybody that pops that one out. So
Yeah.
we are going into heat number 3, guys, any second now, but we're going to be going through a couple little things. We're going to show you guys another Plaza video and talking about heat number 2. Amazing riding. So excited to see what happens in heat number 3, considering we have the 3 top qualifying heats ahead of us right now. We have Dan Paley's team, we have Lewis Mills' team, and we have Sergio Leo's team. And when we get to Sergio Leo's team, we have Tom Justice, and I was speaking with him, and he was telling me about his final trick, and it could be absolutely insane. So we're going to go into the Plaza videos right now, and we will check back with you guys in a little bit. And welcome back. We are joined with the most special of guests possible at a BMX event. We have the legendary Matt Hoffman here. So great to have you here at Battle of Hastings, Matt. Seriously, it was amazing to see you hanging out with everybody, going through the trails. Just an action-packed week, man. So we're going to have Chris ask you a couple questions about Battle of Hastings.
Yeah, nice.
So Matt, your presence here definitely uplifts everybody. It definitely brings a whole new positive vibe to this event where there's so much positivity as it is. But
Right.
I mean, you've been here all weekend. We saw you at the trails the other day. We rode trails. I rode trails with Matt Hoffman.
Yeah.
That was a special moment in my life. But talk a little bit about this event and the overall vibe of it.
Yeah, I mean, the overall vibe is just where it came from. You know, it's pretty rad to see all these new heroes. Just or they're not new heroes, but a whole different slate of heroes out there, just like wrecking it and just progressing our sport. But the vibe and the feeling and the love and the passion is still, it's 110%, and it's just like, it's so inspiring. Yeah, I'm so stoked.
And it's not like you need a plaque to tell anybody this, but you won the Legends Award last night at Nora Cup.
Yeah.
How did that feel? I mean, we were all there at the St. Mary's in the Castle, and
Yeah.
you get up there on stage, everyone's going nuts. How special of a moment was that for you?
So I mean, it's like normally when you win an award like that, people tell you, and then you sit there stressed for about a week trying to figure out what you're gonna say and stuff. And this one, I was just kind of like, oh, last award, I just didn't even consider it, And then and I heard something about first handrail, and I was like, wait, that first handrail, I think that's me, And then the next, I was like, holy, like, oh my gosh. So yeah, and then just going up there and just seeing just I don't know, just all these amazing riders that are just like so. I mean, because to be in that audience, you had to earn it, It wasn't you didn't just stumble in there. It was like you were there because you faced the odds and you got beat down and you got back up until you got to that level, And so I was just like, I just felt so honored that I was being honored by this community, and it just really, I don't know, it really touched me.
Well, it would have been a crazy moment if anyone else had won it with you in that room. So thanks so much, not only for being here, but for all your contributions to our sport.
Yeah, you too, and you too. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so much. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to be going into heat number 3 right now. This is Dan Paley's team. We have Sam Jones, Alex Donachie, Alex Heim, and Dan Paley. So Dan Paley is the captain. Their Plaza video was unreal. What these guys did blew everybody's minds. They showed the videos for the first time at Nora Cup last night, and the cheers when those Plaza videos were happening was just unbelievable to see. So we're going to get this started. Chris, how excited are you to see this heat right here? Who's sticking out to you?
Alex Heim is one of my favorite bike riders right now. He is so technical. Watch some of the front wheel stuff that he can do on his bike. The double tail whip nose pick, no front brakes. And he does it so clean and consistent. You hear me say this a lot, but he's another guy where it's like hard for him to mess up. He's just clean, he's concise, he can blast big airs, and he's technical. He's like the full package. But on the course right now, we have Mr. Sam Jones. Oh, going for the double tire ride, has to settle for the feeble.
So Sam Jones absolutely destroyed everybody in that best trick last year when he did that crazy alley-oop 360 to grind over the rail, and he got his team into the final barely at the end right there. So check him out, doing what he does best over here on the street course, and you'll see on the list, there's a lot of street guys that are in this heat right here. With the exception of Alex Heim. Not saying that he can't mess around in the streets, he's great at it, but well, look at this line right here.
Wow, some flatland elements thrown in to that street course over there. Really cool. How are you going to pull a trick like that first try?
So
Just
that
make it look
trick
so
right
easy.
there, I'm good at hang fives, but I always dreamed of doing that whiplash. So when I see people do it as easy as Sam does it, that breaks my heart a little bit on the inside. But it's awesome to watch, though.
Tons and tons of balance from Sam Jones, and looked like he had a little bit of first run jitters, maybe bobbled a little bit here and there, but nevertheless a good first showing. And the judges are looking at overall impression too. They take all these 3 visits to the course, and it's overall impression.
Next one dropping in is Alex Donachie. This guy is the real deal, has so many technical moves. He is capable of doing stuff that nobody has ever seen before on a regular basis during his session. Crank arm grind up the A-frame and down the A-frame. Coming back over to the rail where he does his best work. Oh, look at that line. Feeble grind across. Look at that. There's this tooth hang to crank arm down the rail. Like, you shouldn't be able to do this stuff first try.
Yeah, and Alex Donnick is an X Games gold medalist. He won the X Games in street over in Sydney, Australia last year. So, I mean, he's a guy that knows how to handle the contest pressure and when to, put it on.
And here's your standout right now about to be dropping in, Mr. Alex Heim. Why don't you take this one, Chris?
Man, I loved watching Alex do his thing in practice, so I can only imagine what he has for the contest today. I watched him do a double tail whip nose pick, no front brakes. Again, it was just keep your eye on him, because I mean, he's gonna get me tongue-tied and twisted here. Can't say enough good things about this guy. Showing that 270 with the tabletop.
And I love his flow, his ability to do these technical tricks like you're talking about, but he also can go high. He could do some of the most insane 270 gaps. Me and my little brother, we were talking, a couple months ago, and we think that Alex Heim has the best 270 in the game because he could do insane transfers, like the spine to quarter sideways transfers. Like, he's able to fit into him, no problem at all. Like that 270 he just did up on that top thing was picture perfect, but nice 540 variation. And there's the 360 whip to foot jam. Like, that shouldn't happen first try.
Just first try, like he was just turning around on the quarter pipe. That's how he turns around on a quarter pipe. He does the 540 nose press. Check this out, 180 tail whip into that bowl.
Perfect as well.
First try, easy as you like. And I'm not gonna, I don't know what he's gonna do for his next run, but he can 540 huge box jumps very easily. Well, easily for him.
Yeah, for him at least.
So it'll be interesting to see maybe in that second run, maybe step up the 540 or something.
And here we go, team captain dropping in, Dan Paley. Dan's been putting on a demo this whole weekend, showing up and just really commanding, doing exactly what he's, look at that. Crooked grind to 180, backwards crooked grind to 180 out. Another crooked grind to 180 hop over.
Paley's a guy, like, if he could hold it together, he could really upset that leaderboard.
Look at this technical. Chris, how much just happened in that short little amount of time? It's insane.
Man, it happens so fast, and it's so technical.
He's still going.
Yeah,
like, this is
540 nuts. Over the roller?
Oh, my goodness, man. Like, if he would have handled that one, that it literally would have been the most high energy, most intense run of the day for sure. Look at that, relaxed 180, switch crook down the rail to 180 out.
Now, you're a lot better at telling what's regular and what's opposite for these guys. I struggle a little bit more because they look so comfortable. How did you know that was his opposite side?
The reason why I knew it was his opposite side was because Dan Paley, he's a regular-footed rider. He's regular-footed rider, meaning that he rides, right foot forward and he grinds on his right side. So, a lot of these guys, it's becoming really hard to figure out because they're switching their feet while they're doing switch spins. So it looks regular, because usually it's uncommon for people to be goofy-footed, but it's getting harder to figure out. But look at that start in this one. That was nollie to crank arm grind over right there. Tires down. Sam Jones, I've been watching him ride for a few years now, and I remember seeing the videos, and when I finally got to watch him ride in person, it makes you buy into the hype. You're like, this guy really is the real deal.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's amazing some of the technical tricks that these guys are able to do. It seems like a few years ago, a lot of these links and a lot of these combos would have taken, 10, 12 tries, but these guys are able to do them first run. Check that out. Crooked grind, double tire ride, bar spin in. I mean, more than a mouthful right there. These guys have so much dial. Like, I know it looks like they're moving a little bit slower and maybe they're a little bit lower, but these tricks are so, so difficult.
Oh my God. Nollie, 2 tires to bar spin out across that. That was a hammer run from Sam Jones.
And again, to be able to do that many technical tricks in a row, bang, 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 and do them all consistently like that, I mean, that's That's really impressive. That's something I could never do for sure. It would take me a couple years to
Just
film
think of
that
if somebody's like, hey, Chris, all right, you got to get this line right here. Take your time. Go work on these tricks right now. Dude, it would take anybody forever, but these guys are masters at it.
I'd say, sorry, I can do a turn down. I gotcha.
All right, here goes Alex Donachie back on the course. Like Chris said earlier, this guy is an X Games gold medalist. He was so proud of that one. Oh, have to step off the crank arm grind up and over that A-frame rail. That's a really, really long crank arm as well. Look at that. Ice pick to over tooth. That's nuts.
Jeez.
And like right there, as we're trying to commentate of what just happened, that's hard to keep up with what we just saw right there. There was so much action on that flat rail. The level of riding of modern day street is at a level I never expected it to be at.
Oh, I love that. Crank arm grind up, trying to go double peg, and he's going to do something out of that as well.
Always is. Okay, so we're moving on to the next rider, Alex Hyam. This guy is something else. He is some of the biggest tricks out there, the biggest transfers. He is not scared to send it, that is for sure.
Yeah, we saw that 180 tail whip from bowl to bowl, pulled it first try. He just makes everything look so easy. He makes it look like, oh, that's not that hard, but trust me, what he's doing is very, very difficult.
And Alex Hyam started at such a young age, too. I remember seeing him, he's riding that small bike. Look at that tail whip in that pocket. That shouldn't be done at 7 foot. No possible way. But Alex Hyam, he started at such a young age, and everybody was watching him ride, and they were just in shock at how good he was. And you see kids that are good, but it's like, are they going to stay with it? Are they going to continue? And Alex was like one of the first guys that we saw start out at such a young age and actually show up and continue and keep on progressing and pushing himself.
Well, I knew a young kid who had a lot of hype as well that we didn't know how he was going to pan out, but he turned out to be Scotty Cranmer. Look at that downside tail up to Smith, 180
Wow.
in. Again, showing you the technical aspect of his riding. And he's had a few bobbles in this run, but
Yeah, he's definitely had a few bobbles on this one, but I will give him credit. He's definitely, he's looking forward and pushing it aside, and he's definitely got a lot of tricks under his belt, though. It would be easy for people to get discouraged after the first bobbles and to just move on from that one. But Alex, he's a veteran at this point. It's crazy to say that, but Alex is a veteran. He knows what he needs to do.
he had to step off the tail whip into a tail whip toe jam on the sub box, a trick that we've seen him do countless times.
And a skinny sub box to boot. It's nuts. So Dan Paley dropping in, team captain, coming off an insane first run. Let's see if we can do more of the same.
Wow.
Oh, so close, Chris.
Check that out. 360 to crooked grind. Dan's a funny. He's a funny guy to hang out with too. He's got a lot of personality. Usually puts a lot of personality into his riding. Just a good all-around guy.
I saw him have a dance-off at Norcup last night.
Is that right?
Yeah, he was in the front row and he just had a dance battle with somebody. He's down for a good time, Dan.
Sometimes if you're gonna battle, might as well be on the dance floor.
It is Battle of Hastings, isn't it? All right, looking for that 362 crooked grind on that rail right there. Sometimes these guys have their heart set on doing a certain trick, so it's hard, in a situation like this where you're like, all right, I know I have my final trick coming up, and he probably has something already planned for that one. But Dan, he wanted to do that trick in that run. He was trying his hardest to get it going. So back to the final run. Here it is right now, the very start of it. It's going to be Sam Jones. He's going to be our first rider in. We're going to repeat this again because we don't want you guys to get confused. This third run is technically the final trick. They get two chances to land their final trick to count towards their score. If they don't land it in 2 tries, they can still keep on landing it for the crowd if they want to. If not, they can just wave it off. Oof, we're getting
Where's he
something
going
technical.
with that? Double tires up, trying to land in a hang 5. A hang 5 is a nose wheelie with your foot on the front peg, and you kind of use that other leg to balance yourself out. I don't want to say that's easier or harder than an actual nose wheelie, something we see like
I'm going to
Courage
go out
Adams
and
do.
say it's very, very much easier than actual nose wheelie.
Okay.
Because both of us, we could do hang 5s. And if you told us to do a hang 5 or a nose wheelie where Courage Adams was doing it yesterday, I'll say it for us because The nose wheelie level right now, where these guys are at, is just insane. You got Courage Adams doing the nose wheelies just straight in, locking in like it's regular manual. You got nose wheelies like Jason Watts, who does the knack and the can variation, seat stand variation. Like, this is things that we never thought would be possible, but in modern day BMX, it's at that point, which is nuts. So it looks like he's going to be waving off this one. He tried a bonus try on that one to try to get that line. But sometimes, you just want to go with the vibe of the competition. And if you really want it, you can keep on going. But, sometimes it's like, all right, I'm not going to sit here and make, my teammate wait, and maybe get cold or something. I've already lost the chance to get a score for this one. Let's get the next rider in.
I mean, this is a team event, so you work as a team. Like he wasn't feeling it, steps off the course, says his goodbyes to everybody, and it's respectable. Just to be in this final, to be at this contest in general, is just so amazing. So, all good on Sam Jones, but Alex Donachie, crooked up, over crooked, yeah. He's really liking that A-frame, isn't he?
He loves that A-frame rail, and I heard that the Plaza rail, the double kinker that was in there, the one that he absolutely destroyed, he actually rides a very similar rail to that, so all the time. So no surprise he showed up like he did. Crooked to 180, lands that one. That is going to count towards his score to hopefully get on the podium. And you can see everybody over here celebrating together, all his teammates. These guys are having the best time. Even Garrett Reynolds going up there. He's on a different team. These guys are all friends. They're rooting for each other. And I always talk about BMX. And BMX is different than other sports. It's because you have to beat yourself before you beat anybody else. So these guys are all rooting for each other because they know just how much hard work and dedication goes into this.
It's similar to what Matt Hoffman was just saying. I mean, he was saying how, we all kind of go through the same experience to get to where we're at and to be acknowledged what it meant to him, of course. So, I know exactly what you're saying.
So here's your guy, Chris. Alex Heim dropping in, going towards that big box. And there's that 540.
I was really hoping that we would see it, and we have seen it. Huge 540. And you know what? That was only his first attempt. Should he want to do something else in there? Why not? But you know what? I think he's just psyched. Land it first try. Go get yourself a drink. Say hi to the boys.
That was huge, though. He was so high up there, rotating so slow, landing it first try. Great to see Alex Heim landing that one, riding away. But we still have one rider left in this one, the team captain. And let's see if he can show up for this best trick right now.
Be interesting to see what Dan Paley has up his sleeve. Maybe get that 360 to crook that he was chasing in his second run.
Oof.
And it looks like that's what he's going to be trying. I mean, it looked like when he was trying it in his second run, he got pretty close, and then it's just kind of gone downhill from there. And sometimes that can just wear on you mentally.
You're right. You're totally right. I've been there before on tricks when it just gets further and further instead of getting closer. But sometimes it just takes one attempt to make it click. So let's see if he can get it right now. 360, crooked. Oh, man, he missed back peg again. Oh, so that means that he will not have a best trick that is going to count in the finals on this one. But if he chooses so, if he feels up to it, he can get back up and give it another attempt.
Yeah, it was nice of Ryan Fudger there to help him up off the ground.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. Very nice of Ryan.
Or just stand there and look at him, Ryan.
I think the camera was working there for him now, so I think we might be seeing it on our BMX. Ooh, it looks like Dan's holding his wrist, actually, so that might have been a tough break for him. All right, well, that is going to be wrapping up heat number 3. We are going to be going into heat number 4 shortly. That was an awesome heat, and the level of riding, like we were saying in the beginning of this, we told you guys it was going to be at a top level, and it's only going to get crazier. So we're going to be leaving you guys shortly, but you guys are going to be watching some of the Plaza edits. And the Plaza edits were absolutely insane. The level of riding was unreal. So you guys make sure to check this one out, and we will be coming back in with heat number 4 after this. And welcome back. We have yet another special guest. We are alongside Heat number 2 team captain, Boyd Hilder. Dude, so good to have you here. Chris, how excited are you to have Boyd Hilder sitting here?
I don't want to make this awkward, but Boyd's one of my favorite bike riders right now. So it's a little bit weird to have him sitting right beside me and tell him that. But we did just have Matt Hoffman, so it's a little bit more comfortable interviewing you. Boyd, you're having literally one of the best years ever. Contest wins, new sponsors, new edits, and now here we are at Battle of Hastings. And I want you to talk a little bit about your history here at Battle of Hastings, because you've had some real highs and some real lows.
Yeah, well, just for starters, it's like a dream just to be here and enjoying it, especially sitting beside you two legends. But yeah, Battle of Hastings for me started off first year, rode everything, come to the last trick, had a bit of a slam, broke my jaw, unfortunately. Spent another week here in the hospital and whatnot. Turned out okay, come back, got on another team with Jason Watts and the boys, ended up getting first, you know what I mean, like the best turnaround, so it was already amazing. And then with that, I got to be a captain. And so then I just bring all the boys out just to really like soak it up and just enjoy this event.
Yeah, you guys were definitely a standout because you guys are all obviously like really good friends. So you just wanted to pick some of your close friends from back home, get them over here for this event. Now, are any of them a little bit intimidated to be at a big contest like this?
Well, yeah, they're all just like underground killers, you know. Like it's kind of hard to like get over to events when you're from Oz. Like the flights are expensive, but I knew all these boys. I know what they can do. They're just all shredders. And yeah, like a couple of them don't really ride contests ever. Like Karen, he doesn't ride contests. He's just a rail shredder. But you know, put him in the spot and he gave it gold. You know.
Well, it really it speaks to the overall vibe of the Battle of Hastings contest. It's just all about what you mentioned. I mean, because that's really what riding is. It's about riding with your friends. You can have the worst type of session. You could be riding like a parking lot or something. As long as you have your good friends there, it's a good time. But I'm going to shift gears a little bit because last night you won the Nora Cup for Reader's Choice.
Stoked on that. Stoked on that.
I mean, that was great because I've been echoing myself all year long, talking about the year that you've been having, and then boom, you get Nora Cup. Like, what a special feeling. And then to get that Nora Cup in front of all your friends.
That's what topped it. Like I was just already coming out here to just have a good time and enjoy it with all my best mates. Like especially the format this year, we get to go back to back with all my good mates, and I was like, this is a dream. And then get Nora Cup, which is another dream come true. Like insane.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely speaks to the type of year that you're having. So good luck with everything, and it was an absolute pleasure to watch you ride yet again.
Thank you. Thank you. Cheers.
Yes. So we're going into heat number 4. We have Team Mills. We have Dan Lacey, Garrett Reynolds. We have Bruno Hoffman, and we also have Lewis Mills, who is the team captain. This is going to be sick. Heat number 4, this is going to be epic. The crowd is ready to go. The riders are ready to go. The energy in this building right now is something like you've never witnessed before. So we're going to get this one started shortly as soon as they start calling the riders down on in. And the first rider that is going to be dropping in is going to be Dan Lacey, who is the ultimate local here, Chris Doyle.
Heavy hitters all around. I've been watching Dan Lacey in practice, and he has this bowl more wired than just about anybody, I would say. I mean, for being a guy that's primarily known for riding street, he can ride this bowl so well. He knows every nook and cranny. He literally lives a stone's throw away from this bowl. So, oh man, this is going to be exciting. And we see Mr. Garrett Reynolds also
legendary. Legendary Garrett Reynolds, man. Like it's amazing to see what Garrett has completed in his career. He has absolutely done it all. So to see him come here at Battle of Hastings once again, throw down, like, what's he going to do this year? We do not know, but it's going to be something that is going to melt everybody's minds.
Okay, so just watch the speed and watch the lines that Lacey has around this place. Lots of air. Going fast. Watch this gap up.
Oh my God! His back wheel was so high up on that one.
I've seen other guys do that, and it is not it's nowhere near close to how well Dan Lacey does it.
Dan is such an awesome rider, such a great person, great ambassador for what BMX is. You know, you make it what you want it to be. And Dan Lacey goes by his own, are you kidding me right there? Dude, are you serious? A nose 5 on that vert wall?
Yes, like I said,
oh my, what a run.
he knows every nook and cranny of this bowl. Super, I love the double peg grind, then he goes up that transition, 270s right in. Super
Everything
cool from Dan
about that run was picture perfect, and it was signature Dan Lacey. Nobody was doing what Dan did right there.
Absolutely. And you know what else I like about Dan is you never have to wonder what Lacey's thinking, because he'll tell you exactly what he thinks of you, what he thinks of the event, what he thinks about everything. Like, he's definitely a guy that wears his heart on his sleeve, and it's kind of refreshing.
It is. I love Dan Lacey. I'm such a huge fan of his riding, such a huge fan of who he is as a person. And dropping in is Garrett Reynolds right now. Look at that double. Ooh. Oh, very. You know, it's uncharacteristic for us to see Garrett Reynolds fall. I know it's weird saying that, but like, yes, Garrett, he's usually so picture perfect on everything that he does. But what he's doing right here, you know, this is serious stuff. Double truck to manual across that hip right there. Garrett is known to be a street rider, but Garrett grew up riding my parents' skate park called the Incline Club, you know, and he used to ride the ramps at such a high level. So it's great to see him starting things off in that bowl once again. But looks like Garrett's going to be waving that runoff, you know. That was looks like he has got a little bit of a limp, you know. He might be just trying to rest himself till run number 2.
Yeah, a couple step-offs, stuff that we're not used to seeing from Garrett Reynolds. I mean, does he, maybe he's got like a bruised heel. We see him take his shoe off there. But yeah, you never know what these guys are going through behind the scenes, because a lot of what a guy like Garrett and Bruno and Dan Lacey, these guys are always filming. So they always have film projects going on. So, I mean, they're like sending themselves all year long.
And here he comes, Bruno Hoffmann, representing Germany. You know, he's been around for so many years. I actually rode my first simple session in his heat when he rode his first. I believe it was his first pro contest. And, like, he was so young. And ever since then, what he's turned into is pretty remarkable. He's really made a name for himself as such a technical, you know, top-name street rider, rides for the biggest companies, and he's the real deal. He really is. He can use both sides of his bike on the pegs, left side, right side, and he does it with ease. Ooh, look at that nollie to overgrind on the A-frame rail. But, you know, he specializes in street at this point. You know, he can ride everything, but he specializes in street, so you'll see majority of his riding in this end of the course today.
Yeah, and it's like you were saying, he came in so young that it seems like now he's been around for so long, but he's still relatively young. We just saw that nose to crooked grind right there.
So next rider in is going to be Mr. Lewis Mills, who is the team captain. Representing Australia, had an insanely big year as well. He had silver medal at the X Games in Australia on home turf in front of his family. And then ever since then, he's got sponsored by Monster. He got sponsored by Vans. Like, things have been going great for Lewis Mills. He's not only extremely talented BMX rider, he's a very talented painter. The stuff that he does is amazing. Like, it's hard to even comprehend. So this is he's been an interesting add to BMX.
Oh, look at this line.
Oh! Wow. How did that work right there? Wow, what a start. That's how a team captain comes out swinging. Look at that crank. What? Are you kidding me, Chris? Crank to manual to 180.
Man, he's so casual with all of his tricks that it's like, man, it almost doesn't look like he's trying. Look at that.
Oh. Oh, my goodness. What a first run for Lewis Mills, though. The things that he got done in that first part of that run, insane. Seriously, everybody is up on their feet for him right now. That was wild.
Yeah, that was some really cool riding right there. And like I said, Mr. Casual, he just made everything kind of look like, I'm just cruising out here.
And that's how the elite riders do it, though. That's how all the guys, that are at that level, when you have things that dialed, when you have, your riding that controlled, everything that you're going to be doing is so worked out. It looks like it's easy. It actually looks like it's not even something that you actually have to try for. Speaking of it, we got Dan Lacey dropping down the course, asking people to move out of the way. Let's see what he's going for here, Chris. Coming in, gapping into the smaller bowl, continuing his line into the bigger bowl, bringing some speed again. Let's see what he's got.
Loves that transfer.
He loves it. I love it. I'd like to see it every single run if I could. And I'll say one thing, Chris. You got to respect him for his turn down. Chris Doyle is, the most legendary turn down of all time. You got to respect his turn down, though.
I love it. Yeah, it's way better than mine. Look at that. 180 bar spin to disaster, 180 back in. And you know what? This is his home park. So you got to imagine he's probably got some things that he's been eyeing up for a very long time that he would like to get done here in front of all these people, this whole crowd, all of his friends. But man, super fun always
to
watch
Dan Lacey. Yeah, if you guys
Dan Lacey
can hear
ride.
This crowd right now, they are going nuts for Dan Lacey. They are up on their feet. Dan's loving it, and he rightfully should. He deserves it, man. They love this guy. He represents Hastings. He represents everybody here at the source, and he's putting on a show once again. Look at that throwback. Garrett Reynolds starting things off with that double truck dropping into that bank. He's been doing that since like 2006 or something like that. Like, that's crazy to think.
Yeah, casual as you like.
Still nobody's doing it. So run number 2 is looking a lot better for Garrett Reynolds. Oh, it looked like he was going for like a tail. I guess he did tail up over, but he was going a little bit slow on that one. I didn't know if he was going to get caught up on that rail.
What I like about that is bar spin, manual to bar spin on the round rail. Precision from Garrett. This is more typical to what we're used to seeing is the Garrett Reynolds that doesn't really mess up too much.
Yeah, that's why we were in such shock when run number 1 started off the way it did, because this is what we're used to seeing, what BMX is used to seeing from Garrett. So great run number 2 from Garrett. So much technical tricks that only Garrett Reynolds is capable of well. But we still got 2 more riders left for run number 2. We got Bruno Hoffman coming up. Bruno had a good first run. There's a couple things that he wants to clean up, that's for sure. And let's hope that he really puts on a good show for us all right now, because we will be honored to see him do what he does.
Going for that opposite ice pick grind again, trying to pull hard into the wedge. There's that hard way 180 down the wedge.
What I love about Bruno's riding, when he pops off of things, when he pops in and out of things, he's got such an aggressive pull to it. Him and Ty Morrow ride very similar in that sense. What they do is just so it's smooth. It looks controlled. It looks like they know exactly what they're doing. But when they do it, it looks aggressive, and I think it's such an awesome look.
Yeah, 180 crooked grind. Just Bruno just casually out there, just cruising, finding his line, figuring out the tricks that he wants to do. There's that nose to crooked grind again. Maybe wants a little something more out of it. You can see by his body language that, maybe he wanted a little bit more.
All right, he's waving off run number 2. There was some really good things in run number 2, that's for sure. There's a lot of technical stuff. There's a couple things I know he wasn't happy with. You could tell, just body language-wise. But here we go, team captain Lewis Mills from the complete other side of the world, dropping in right now. Had an insane run number 1. Let's hope that momentum carries, Chris.
Yeah, watch the subtleties here. Look at the links.
Jeez,
wow.
He did that in run number 1, and my mind was blown. And the fact that he did that in run number 2 again, and even cleaned it up, how is that possible?
Yeah, it's just really cool to see how each rider uses the course with their individuality and does their individual tricks. I love how he started that run off with a bar spin to 180 fakie on the quarter pipe, and then he just kept it going from there.
Yeah, and what's cool about modern day street riding, the manual link is becoming so common. I remember, about a couple of years ago, I started doing a lot of stuff, manual link wise, in park stuff. And then I started seeing a lot of street riders doing it too. And I was so psyched to see it, because that's the progression of our sport. That's what's going to take things and push it to a new level. And Courage Adams, who we will be seeing in the next heat, is the epitome of the links between manuals and when it comes to street.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But that's it it for run number 2 for heat number 4. We are moving on to the final tricks right now. So the final tricks, we're going to remind you guys, there is only 2 attempts that will count towards their score. If they try it again afterwards, that is strictly for the crowd. That is strictly for everybody watching this live stream right now. So let's hope that these guys land everything in the first 2 attempts. They get exactly what they want done. We're going to start things off with the local boy, Dan Lacey.
And it's like I said before, I mean, he might have a few things up his sleeve that he's just been dying to get done, that, you know, he rides here almost every other day. So therefore, like, he might see, you know, something like, man, maybe if I had, you know, all of BMX here behind me, I might be able to get this done. So it'll be interesting to see what Dan Lacey comes up with.
Yeah, so Dan just dropped his first attempt. He's going for a 360 over the rail. It looks like he's gonna do something with the rail, you know, maybe use his pegs. You never know with Dan, he's capable of so much. Here comes a 360, over to the wall ride. Wow.
Oh, and he came in right on the edge of that wedge there, right on his side. So you know that hurt. But, you know, Dan Lacey is one tough customer. It's going to take more than that to keep him down. But, man, what a slam.
Wow, that was serious. And, you know, after the first attempt, I saw him go pretty far away from the rail. So I was curious if he was going to use the rail, but I didn't even think to factor in that wall ride right there. And, like, that's a tight area. He was so close to the bottom ledge. He was so close to the rail when he took off. Like, that's going to be a really tough pull right there. But if anybody's going to be doing it, Dan Lacey is the guy.
Yeah, and you think he's going to keep going? I mean, because this is his home park. You think he's going to keep it going? Because that was 2 attempts. You think he's going to, you know, give it some more?
So looking at it right now, looks like Andy Zeiss is talking to Dan Lacey. Dan is still on his bike, you know, which is a good sign. So if he's going to be trying it, I think it's going to happen right now. You got 600 people right now ready to cheer you on, so here we go. Whoa, almost doing a 360 to Fudger instead.
And Lacey is not happy with Ryan Fudger right now, understandably so, but it looks like he maybe want to be go over the rail and maybe land in like a Rubin style on that wedge.
And like I said earlier, it's going to be a tough one to do because the way that everything lines up, it's very skinny, the takeoff between the rail and between the ledge. So he has to go up in almost a straight line and do a complete 90-degree turn with momentum to get it to that wall. So that's going to be the hardest part about this, is timing of this one. So will this one work? We are not too sure. Whoa, yeah, see, even if you could see, like, he was close to the wall that time, but his back wheel was the only thing that was close to it. So trying that one, you know, sometimes you got to weigh out your options and see, you know, you might be like, all right, yeah, I want to get this trick, but sometimes it's just not meant to work.
Yeah, it's a tricky angle coming over the rail and trying to connect with the wedge like that.
So it looks like we're going to be moving on to the next rider, which is going to be none other than Garrett Reynolds, the greatest of all time when it comes to street. This guy has pushed street to limits that nobody even thought possible over the years, and he keeps on showing up and proving again why he is the real deal. So let's see what he's got. Bar spin to nose on the ledge.
Bar spin
so
to
this is
nose
interesting
wheel, yeah.
because I've seen him do this last year in the Battle of Hastings. He was trying this one in best trick for a while. He was trying to do bar spin to nose wheel, to late bar spin out, but he was having such a hard time getting the bar spin out of the ledge right there. He actually even switched it up and went to a different trick from what I remember. So if he can get this one right now, this would be pretty big because I know this one was a full battle for him.
I love the fact that I love watching a guy like Garrett Reynolds have to try. Because usually it seems like things come so easy. There's the nose. Oh, the bar's into the nose. I mean, that's, for me, that's a very impressive trick. But
It is.
You know that Garrett Reynolds wants more, and you know that he's capable of more. So and I'm gonna say it again. Like, I like that he actually has to try. That he has to give it some effort here. Bars in. And he got
man.
the balance. It looked like he could have popped out
there. But the thing is with this, you're doing it onto a down ledge. So not only are you doing a bar spin into this nose manual, but once you're in this nose manual, you have to be in such an aggressive nose manual that when you have to flatten back out, things aren't adding up. things are, your momentum is still leaning forward so much. So I think that's the hard part about it. But we're moving on to the third rider from this group, which is none other than Bruno Hoffman. He's already on to his second attempt. It looks like he's going for a nollie to nose, possibly 180. Could be a straight nose. I'd be perfectly content if he did that, but it's Bruno Hoffman. It could be a 180.
There's the nose down. You see with the body language, you
Yeah.
see the way that he's turning that perhaps he wants to go 180. But that's so hard when that wedge is just throwing you straight to the ground. So you got to be so quick and concise.
Oof.
It looks like he's figuring it out. I mean, he's already taken his 2 attempts, but it seems like he's learning something with each attempt.
Yeah, when you're this close to it and it's happening so quick, you're just going to keep on going because why not? Like, this isn't eating up too much time on the clock at all. And everybody in here, the riders to all the spectators, they want to see Bruno land this one. Oof, close one right there. He's just got to get in that right angle to pull it. So it looks like he's going to wave this one off. Maybe, it's something that would take a couple minutes, but, he just wants to give his team captain, a chance to get in there while he's hot. Speaking of, here comes Lewis Mills. Let's see what he's going to be setting up for, Chris.
Well, this whole heat has been primarily in that street section. Ledges, wedges, rails. I mean, these guys, these are some of the best street riders currently right now.
That's the truth. So it looks like Lewis Mills is going to eye up an up rail to hard 180 gap, possibly to the ledge. Ooh, never mind. Never mind. I was completely wrong about that one.
Wow.
Up rail, hard 180 whip on that A-frame, pulling it clean, and that is going to count towards the score.
Wow, he pulled that in 2 attempts. Pulling hard way away from the rail, 180 tail whip. And he popped it nice. Looked like he bobbled the pedals a little bit, but the feet didn't hit the ground. He pulled the roll back. That's going to be a good score for that final visit, which is like the hard trick of those 3 visits. So really impressive from Lewis Mills. Always fun to watch him ride.
Great showing from the whole heat. That was so much fun to watch. And you said it earlier, that was a lot different than the rest of the heats out there because they didn't primarily use just the bowl. So we're going to be moving on to heat number 5, the final heat. But you guys are going to watch some park edits right now, and you guys will be joining us shortly for the final one. And welcome back. We have once again another special guest. This time around, we have my fellow Monster and Vans teammate, Kevin Peraza. Kevin, how is your weekend going so far here at Battle of Hastings?
Incredible, man. The energy, the crowd, the riding, just the atmosphere, it's so pure, it's so BMX. I love it, love everything about it. The weather's been beautiful here in Hastings, usually rains sideways, so we've been very blessed with very good weather, and obviously, just the energy's been keeping us up here. We've been long days out here and just having a good time. Everyone's healthy. Our team didn't make it to the finals, but we're still here supporting, still showing love, and it's pure, man. It's family, it's BMX, that's all it is.
Well, and you are no stranger to being at the Source Park. This is your 4th visit to the Battle of Hastings. This is your 3rd visit to the Source Park this year. Talk a little bit about how special it is to come to the Source and to come to an event like this.
Incredible, man. As a kid, I grew up watching all these videos, of all these incredible athletes competing worldwide at these major events, and Battle of Hastings has always been so iconic, and so progressive. To come back to the Battle of Hastings, 4th year in a row, to be invited back on one of my best friends' team, Pat Casey, with Dennis Henderson and then Felipe Manarin again from Brazil, super motivating, man. Like just good times always, and like you've mentioned, this is my 3rd time this year alone. The skate park's incredible, and the people here are so welcoming, and I'm a loco. If you need some food spots, let me know. But yeah, it's exciting, man. It really is.
You guys might as well get an apartment here because it seems like you're definitely a standout here. You rode the bull so incredible, but that's no surprise to me. You're one of the leaders of the new school right now, and it's always just such a pleasure to watch you do your thing, to watch you ride. I've been seeing you since you were a young kid, so to now be here and be one of the favorites is just it's a really special thing for all of us as fans of Kevin Peraza.
No, thank you, Chris. I really appreciate it. It's an honor always, to get to chat with you and talk about life and to grow and learn from you. And as Scotty as well, you guys are big influences in my life to many other riders. So it's a pleasure. It's a blessing. And what can I say, man? Another year, Battle of Hastings. The final's just about to wrap up right now. So we'll give you guys the mic and get this done.
Hey, congratulations again on all your success, and congratulations on the engagement.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
So here we go, Heat 5, the final heat. We got Simone Baracco, we got Courage Adams, Tom Justice, and Sergio Leos. This is going to be absolutely insane, guys. I'm so excited for this one. The things that we've seen from this whole team, from the Park Plaza, from the qualifying yesterday, it was nuts. The best trick was one of the craziest things I have ever seen in my life. What Courage Adams did blew my mind, and everybody in this whole entire building just completely just went jaw dropped to the floor. So we're going to see more of that right now as heat number 5 is getting ready to drop. We got our main man Daryl now in there. It looks like he just called for everybody to get crazy for this heat to get the momentum going, and we are starting things off with Simone Baracco. Such a technical rider, Chris. This guy is like right there. You see how he uses back wheel against the rail out of that manual 180. He has such an interesting look on riding his bike. He does things his own way. He does not copy anybody. He just does what he wants.
Simone is a guy you have to pay attention to the subtleties. Because he can do so much, and it just like you watch it and you're like, wow, what did I just see? Look at that nose press against the wall, pulls it out to a nose pick, no front brakes, of course, and it's just like the balance and the casualness. Look at this. Manual up, ice pick, manual right back down.
And he rides a cassette. He doesn't ride a free coaster like the rest of the guys. So that's why he was pedaling back on that ledge. So like I said, a lot of these guys are riding the free coasters where, that's what it's turned into. But he walks to his own drum. Like, he does what he does.
Yeah, like I said, it's a guy you have to watch because, sometimes just 180ing near the rail, you're like, wait, did he hit that rail? Like, he bonks. He's always utilizing his pegs, always utilizing the front and back wheels, so definitely got to pay attention to him. And pay attention to this guy, Mr. Courage Adams.
Courage Adams, it's so great to see him live in person because I've only seen videos of him on Instagram, and seeing this guy, here in the flesh and perform at the highest level of what we see him do on these videos is just mind-blowing.
Just look at the balance on this guy. Nose wheelie, goes to manual. Looks like maybe a little bit accidental, throwing the bars on in. But I know in practice he was doing that nose wheelie the entire way. A big nose wheelie to bar spin into the bowl.
So much control with this guy. There's a fine line in BMX of like which direction you're going to take your riding to, and it's like, all right, am I going to be the guy that goes huge, or am I going to be the guy that finesses? And somehow Courage Adams just walks that line in his riding. Look at what he's doing right now. These combinations are insane, and the finesse is nuts.
That link that he just did, bar spin to manual, to bar spin to ice pick grind down that rail. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, I can't imagine being able to balance like that. It's truly special. He's definitely got a one-of-a-kind style.
And the next rider that is going to be dropping is one of the weekend favorites for sure. What he did in the bowl yesterday was all of his own. He just completely shut down the place, and he was handpicked by Sergio Leos before Sergio Leos even met him. He actually sent him a message and said that he would like him to be on this team, and Tom said he was completely shocked by the message that he got and agreed straight away.
If you ask any of the other riders here who they're looking forward to seeing the most, I guarantee you 90% of them will say Tom Justice. Everybody's been talking about him all weekend long.
And for good reasoning. He goes huge, but he has his own style. His foot jam stuff that he does is insane. All of his high air, his massive turndowns. This guy, another one with some of the best turndowns in BMX. But he's got a bit of old school to him, which is so great. He uses the brakes, he uses the pegs. Oh, man, how did that happen? It looked like his back wheel just slid out on the side of it right there.
He was coming at a strange angle, so maybe, just slid a little bit. I mean, I thought for a second that he blew his tire out, but, he's in the little bowl. Look at that. Toothpick on the sub rail. I love this line. Watch this.
I'm glad that he got right back on the bike. That 540 Canadian nose pick once again. That's nuts. See, the judges, they're not going to really be so angry at that what he did over the hip when that crash, because that's like a bogus crash right there. That's like catching the wrong angle on that ramp and sliding out. That's like it's not so much error of what he did is, it was a tough break. It really was.
Yeah, unfortunate for him, but he got right back up and he did, how many tricks after that little fall there. And I don't think it's going to hurt him that much, especially in a contest like this. The judges kind of know what each rider's going through during these runs. So it's, it'll be interesting to see where they place that. But next up, Mr. Sergio Leos, one of the best bowl riders that there is. I mean, this guy, I feel bad for our cameramen right now because they got to follow him around going Mach 10. This is going to be really good.
What I love about Sergio, he can show up anywhere, to any skate park, and he automatically knows how to ride it exactly like it was meant to be ridden. In my opinion, I will go out here and say that I think he is the best skate park rider in the world when it comes to riding transitions and doing exactly what he is supposed to do on those. He could ride both ways. He could spin both directions. He can carve both ways confidently. Like, look at that. That was an opposite one-footed X-up air into that bowl corner. But then he could do big tricks as well. The guy is the real deal. So much style, so much finesse. And what's really cool is Sergio was pro before I was pro, and he is still out here killing it. Jeez.
That huge downside tail up into the vert wall, and then he tries to link it together with the 360, comes up a little bit short, but I mean, gosh, the amount of energy that you need to complete a run like that. I mean, these guys are athletes. Don't get it twisted. These guys are conditioned athletes to be able to put together runs like that.
And Sergio Leos, let's talk about that downside whip he did. That one that led right into that 360 where he cased. That was a switch air, regular tail whip, carving and leaning his opposite direction, and he landed into a vert wall that has about 6 or 7 feet of vert on it. It's not like there was any room for error. Like, you were doing like Spider-Man kind of style stuff onto it. So we are back to the top of the list right now, into the Street Assassin. We got Simone Baracco. He got a silver medal in the X Games Real BMX. his video part because of what you guys are seeing right now. Just complete control, so much finesse.
Yeah, with Simone, the devil's in the details. I mean, you just got to watch everything he does. And the judges are really in tune with what he's doing. I mean, because he's always hitting a peg somewhere. He's always bonking a wheel somewhere. He's always got a little something for everything.
Looks like he's trying an interesting line, a Simone-style line that he was doing over that rail, using every obstacle on the course, but in a manner that nobody else would. Like, nobody else would even think about it. Look at that. He's going for the nose press on top of the sub box without using his foot, without using a brake. Complete balance. Oh, it's a tough one right there.
That's got to be so difficult. I mean, it is strange, like that, towards the end of his run, he ends it on a sub box when he's capable of doing so many tricks on the rails, on the ledges, the wedges, and everything like that. Like, hey, kudos to him. I like to see the versatility in all these riders and maybe branch out and do something a little bit out of their comfort zone.
And back up to drop in, we have our man Courage Adams. Just met him for the first time this weekend. It was almost a bit of starstruck. I know Big Boy was definitely starstruck when he met him, and for great reason. This guy, what he has done in his short amount of time of being well known in BMX is seriously mind blowing. Like, what we are seeing should not happen, Chris. This is unreal. To bar spin out! Are you kidding me?
The longest nose wheelie we've seen by far in this contest, and then he bar spins, and check that out. A 360 tail tap where he uses the pedals to kind of put that pressure on, and then he bar spins into the little bowl. Check this out, bar spin to manual, bar spin to ice pick grind. Wow.
That was ridiculous. Honestly, I'm sitting here just like shocked that BMX is at this level and that Courage Adams is the guy that took it there. Unbelievable riding. Unbelievable run.
Courage is another guy that you always see him in practice. Hey, he'll win practice every time, and then
are you kidding, Chris? What just happened? How did he spin a 360 out of that manual? Like, it's not like he was going straight off of it. He was coming from the side and completely muscled it around.
Wow.
That has got to be one of the craziest, most technical runs we have seen all day.
Oh, easily. I mean, that was precision. That was balance. I mean, good for Courage, because I was about to say he usually does really well in practice, and then when the contest comes, he kind of messes up a little bit. So it's really awesome to see him put together a run in the contest when it counts. I mean, the judges are probably going nuts right now. Like, how do we score that? There's so much, like, that long nose wheelie to start out his run. I mean, come on. You shouldn't be able to do that.
You shouldn't.
First,
like, it shouldn't
try.
happen in a run. It's something, it's impossible. Okay, back up, we got Tom Justice, potentially in the running for the award for the Rider's Rider, because he's been bringing so much high energy, so many sick lines to this competition. But I mean, everybody has, so I'm not going to say that he's the only one here. It can go any different direction, and it's well deserved. But Tom is putting on such a great show all week right now. He had a little bobble on his first run, but I don't think that bobble was too bad. This is where it went wrong. Just pumping over the hip, he just slid out.
Yeah,
that was all that happened.
And you saw the angle in which he was landing, so it's understandable why that tire slid out the way that it did. But I mean, I follow him on Instagram. I know you do too, and even Instagram doesn't do him justice. You got to see this guy in person to really appreciate how difficult this is. I mean, that's a toothpick. Looks easy. That is so hard. And to link it all up.
Oh no, that's another uncharacteristic one. That was a straight foot jam hopping in right there. Hopefully he tries to finish it, or he might be at the end of his run anyway. But it's a bummer to see right there. But I'll tell you what, that is at the very end of his run, because we've seen him do this run. He only had 2 more tricks after that, and they were back and forth, and they were both foot jam variations. So it's not a bad time to have a crash. But we are back up to the team captain, Mr. Sergio Leos, one of the best, if not the best, bull rider in the world. Yeah, let's say it. He is the best bull rider in the world.
Man,
I'll say it.
And everything's so subjective these days, but I mean, just watch the style, watch the flow. He's in and out of this bowl. He's going high, he's smooth, he looks good. I mean, and it's like you'll hear me say all the time, it's not necessarily what you're doing, it's how you're doing it. And Sergio is the epitome of that statement. I mean, he's just so fun to watch ride. I mean, you got to keep your head on a swivel because he's always moving, lots of energy, tons of speed.
And it's been for about 16 or 17 years he's been riding professionally at this level. Like, that's very rare to have somebody, being at their peak at that late in the game. But Sergio is that kind of guy.
He came in young, so he's still relatively young, and he's still winning contests. Like, it's great to see him out here. And he's had his fair share of injuries too. Don't get it twisted.
He had a rough showing last year. He
had a
washed
bumpy
out,
road.
pumping around the bowl corner, and he smashed his face so bad. So, just for him to be back at the 2019 Battle of Hastings, that is such a big win. That's something to celebrate right there. But great riding, awesome run number 2. And now we are moving on to the latter part of the competition. This is going to be the final tricks for the final heat right now. And we have the 4 biggest names, some of the most anticipated riders of the whole weekend. So look at that. Looks like we're going to get a G-turn down the ledge right here from Simone. That was attempt number 1. Remember, they only have 2 attempts for this to count towards their score. Anything else is bonus. And G-turn, he had to take his foot off at the last second there. Let's see if he gives this one another attempt.
That one looked like a big improvement upon that first one. Let's see if he does it now. Now it's just for the crowd. Now it's for the people. But each attempt is getting better and better. Oh, and he's going to wave it off.
You know what? Sometimes you just get to that point where you're just not feeling it. Maybe, he could be in a way where, his body might be a little sore, or maybe he's
coming
back.
Go for it again. He's coming back. There it is, and he pulls it clean.
He waved it off and then walks up to the top of the ramp and has a change of heart and pulls it perfectly. That is what BMX is about, Chris.
Wow. 180. For the people watching at home that don't know what a G-turn is, that means 180, goes backwards on his front wheel down the ledge and pulls it back around 180. I mean, down a ledge, that's like nearly impossible. I can only think of one guy that could possibly do that, and I think that's Simone.
All right, Chris, we are moving on to a very, very interesting rider when it comes to the final trick. What is Courage Adams going to attempt for his final trick?
I think it's going to be a long link with a ton of balance. I think he's going to spend time on the front wheel, on the back wheel, maybe a bar in, maybe a bar out. I'm just guessing, but I mean, here we go. Here's that nose wheelie.
Same as he did for best trick, Chris. This one took him about 30 minutes, of attempts of running through for him to get it, but he did get it on the last attempt. So, is he going to play this one smart, try to get a score on the board, or is he going to fire this one out? We'll see.
No, he's going to go for this again. He wants this link. We know he's capable.
Bummer.
But, man.
And it's crazy to say that's uncharacteristic of him, like somebody looping out on a nose manual, I've done that seriously a million times.
Yeah.
But for him, you almost expect him to land these ridiculous nose manuals that he does.
He's definitely the most consistent nose manualer of just about anybody.
All right, so it looks like he's going to keep trying this one for you guys a couple more times. You guys are about to see, seriously, BMX history. Like Chris was just saying, the best nose manualer in BMX. And look at him going up, and he's still going, though.
Just fighting it.
He's not going to give up, Chris.
Wow. Wow.
Whoa,
360.
360. I can't believe he just did that one.
I appreciate the him improvising there, like just keeping it going, keeping the front wheel up, but no one's got more balance right now as far as in a park or street competition than Courage Adams.
And I know that wasn't what he wanted. We both know that right there when his back wheel fell down early on that A-frame, that was something we're like, oh, bummer in a way. But if you think about it, the fact that he was able to switch to a manual, going up that last little bit of the A-frame, going over the peak, and then continuing the manual down, brakeless, that was pure balance right there. That was still such an impressive trick.
Yeah, you won't see me doing that, that's for sure.
All right, so we are moving on to the last 2 riders of the final heat, the heat that qualified in first place. We have Tom Justice, we have Sergio Leos. There has been tons of talk this whole weekend of the trick that Tom Justice wants to do. I sat there with him. We eyed up this Fufanu. And he's currently at the he's going for the Fufanu. If you guys see above that monster logo, there is a metal rail. That is a Fufanu that I think, Chris, you could tell us a little bit about how hard it is to get to and how difficult that is.
Hey, man, that's a steep quarter to come out of. I'm interested to see how he's going to get speed to get up there. Maybe, Scott, maybe you think he's going for the Fufanu? You don't think it's going to be like maybe a wall slap?
I talked to him about the Fufanu.
Okay.
He told me Fufanu.
Well, here we go.
He needs to get the right pump, though. So I'm not going to count that as attempt. I don't count that as attempt because he didn't go for the trick. He's got to get the right pump to be able to go for this one. And getting over that box jump, backwards is key. If he gets over that with the right pump, he's going to start pedaling, and he's going to be going for this Fufanu.
Wow, I want to see this. I don't care how many attempts it takes. I want to see him get this Fufanu because, wow, that is huge.
And he is one of the best in the world when it comes to doing a crazy Fufanu like this. So if there's anybody up for the task, it is Tom Justice. And here we go, popping in once again, not getting the pump that he needed. And like I said, these are not counting as attempts. If I'm a judge, there's no way that's counting as an attempt. He's just setting up, getting speed for this trick. So until he leaves that ramp, off of that coping, that's when I believe the attempt is going to start.
All right.
And look at where he's standing right now. Tom he's about 6 foot tall. So 6 foot, and then there's probably a good 4 feet at least above him where that railing is. So that's 10 foot high. The quarter pipe is about a 6 foot quarter pipe, I believe, maybe 6.5. It's quite steep. Here he goes, the first official attempt. Rocketing up, he is right there, Chris. His back wheel was almost in near perfect position to do it. It's all about getting that body positioning into the right spot, getting onto that coping, popping back in, but that is a good sign right there.
He connected with it. I mean, he got up there. I was thinking with the steepness of that quarter pipe right there, that no way, but you see that first attempt right there? I mean, come on. Like, you give him a couple more, maybe 1, 2 more.
Maybe one more, hopefully.
I mean, I'd love to see him get it when it counts. If he doesn't, I still want to see him get it.
I totally agree with you on this one. This could be pretty epic, and this could be the trick of the finals right here, because this is something that people have talked about over and over again. Can somebody Fufanu this? Is anybody ever going to attempt to Fufanu this railing? Well, Tom Justice, he got the call, and he is ready to give this one a shot. Pumping in, he's pedaling. Here it is, Chris. Oh, he's right there. He got onto the Fufanu in the right position. So this is not going to count for the points going into this final score. But Tom Justice, he is BMX right here. He wants to do this one. I know he does. I spoke with him about this one. We both stood underneath this railing, and I looked at him. I said, "Hey, dude, this is doable, and this is your Fufanu." Let him take a quick little break, I think, and I think he's going to go for it.
Well, he got up there. He went the distance. We know he has what it takes to get on there. Now he has to get back. And you've done your fair share of Fufanus, and so have I. You know, like, as soon as you connect with that rail, you know if you're coming back in or not. So I think as soon as he gets that feeling, it's just a matter of just pulling it back in. And I got to say, a big congrats to Mr. Justice for got married last year, had a child last year, so his wife and his kids might be watching. So hey, welcome to the show, guys. And if his son's watching, like, look what your dad's about to do.
Unbelievable right here. This is seriously what Battle of Hastings is about. Big moments, BMX coming together, all the fans, all the riders. Let's see if Tom Justice can get this Fufanu. Like we said, how crucial it is to get that speed. It is so crucial to land at that coping. So he has all the speed ready to go onto the top of that wall. Look at how tall that thing is. That's at least 10 feet, possibly 11. Possibly 11. And the deck back, I'm going to say, is probably about 7 or 8 feet to pull itself. I think that's a safe bet right there. And the quarter pipe is at least 6.5 feet to 7 feet. So all that added together, 17 feet up there. This could be it, Chris. Let's hope he catches the transition. If he gets transition, this is for these epic moments. And here it is. He's jumping in. And he's got it. Unbelievable. Tom Justice just did what people thought might have been impossible right there. Wow, what an epic moment here at the 2019 Battle of Hastings. You guys can check out the hashtag too. Hashtag BOHBMX. You'll probably see some amazing photos of that Fufanu getting thrown up there.
Unbelievable. I mean, come on. That is a steep quarter. It's far back. It's high. I mean, That is a manly trick right there. I mean, that is Tom Justice. You know, everyone wanted to see him ride. He doesn't go to a lot of contests, so it's a special thing to have him here. So I think he's definitely, you know, proven himself right. I think now everyone, he's lived up to the expectations.
He
is what I'm
totally
trying
has.
to say.
He totally has. And to see that one happen right there, if you guys can feel the electric, you know, the vibe that's in this room, the pure energy that is surrounding these riders, it is so contagious, and these guys feed off of it like it's a full life source.
And you know what? We still have one more rider to go. We're not done yet. We still have Sergio Leos.
The team captain right here, he is getting ready to drop in. Sergio Leos is a legend in BMX. He is the team captain, the one that's in charge. It looks like he is eyeing up possibly something where this railing is. And I've seen Sergio Leos do some pretty insane downside fast plans. It could be a downside fast plan at the top of this one. So this could be pretty cool to see.
Getting a little bit of advice there from Morgan Wade, a guy that knows a thing or two about doing some hard tricks. So maybe getting a little encouragement from Morgan Wade right there, a little encouragement from his teammate. And Sergio's not traditionally a hard trick type of guy. He's more about the flow, more about the style. But I mean, he's a contest rider. He knows what it takes to do well. So we know that he's going to have a thing or two up his sleeve.
Here comes Sergio. He's going to get some speed heading over to this wall, I believe. Coming around the curve. Ooh, once again, not enough speed for Sergio. You know, you need to make sure you have the perfect speed when you try these tricks. Everything is so calculated. Everything is so controlled. So once you know that the rhythm is thrown off, if you gamble on that one, that's, you know, you're down a cylinder. It's going to be so hard for you to get this one done.
Yeah, and it's like we saw with Tom Justice. Sometimes it's not about just the trick. You have to get to that obstacle. And sometimes that can be even harder than the trick itself. Like Tom Justice had to land perfect on the transition and pedal and get the speed just to get that fufanu. And here we go. Here we got Sergio Leos dropping in opposite curve wall.
Oh, man.
And that's why a lot of us wear helmets. Protect the head.
So let's talk about what's difficult about what he's doing. You can see Sergio isn't the tallest guy out there. So he's got to get his foot onto that wall. And now he's got to compress his leg and jump back in. That is a big bounce off of his right leg right there. So that's what makes this trick the final trick for him. This is a big fast plant right there. This would be really hard to do. This would be something that I would be stressing big time if I was trying this one.
And a thing we got to notice too is Sergio rides right foot forward and he spins to the left. If you notice, he's doing an opposite wall ride and it's an opposite downside fast plane. He takes that right foot off, which, I mean, I don't know if it's difficult for him, but I feel like that would add a lot of difficulty. And he's got it!
Oh, he's got it on, and he used that concrete block that's right there. He used that concrete block, found his foot on that thing strategically, and pulled it on the second attempt, so that will count for the points.
Wow, great showing from this last heat. All the riders really put on great performances. Simone Baracco, Courage Adams, Tom Justice, and team captain Sergio Leos. Aren't you glad to not be a judge at a contest like this?
Yes, I was talking to Trey Jones yesterday, one of the judges, and he said he actually loved it. My sister, his wife, actually said, she's like, do you wish you were riding or do you wish you were judging? He's like, judging. He loved it. So this is absolutely insane. This competition lived up to the hype and far beyond. Hope you guys all enjoyed this one. We are going to be figuring out the awards. We're going to figure out who exactly is going to be the Battle of Hastings champion on this one. It is going to be, you know, one of the biggest honors of the year because this is the core BMX competition. This is all the top riders, a team effort as well. There is no other competition out there that is doing team events like this. So when that moment comes, when you're up there with your team and you get to celebrate with them, there is nothing like it out there. So this is going to be huge, guys. This is seriously lived up to the hype. It's so much beyond. I had so much fun hanging out here with my main man Chris Doyle to be a part of this, and we're going to be waiting on the awards that are going to be given by Daryl Now and Andy Zeiss. They are going to be taking you guys down there. You guys are going to be watching it live. So this has been unbelievable, Chris.
no joke. Ooh, you tryna kid, enough with your foolishness. This is for real, it's no joke. Ooh, you tryna kid, enough with your foolishness. I've been around so long, trying to make sense.
Boyd, Dan, Lewis, and Sergio. Don't be shy. Just come over here. Isaac, are you close by? Isaac Lesser. Paley, where are you at? Lewis and Sergio. Sergio, come over here, buddy. Team Captain Dan Paley, you're in the building? Is you in the building?
Dan Paley, where you at, my man? We are about to find out. Isaac Lesser, Boyd Hilder, Dan Paley, Lewis Mills, or Sergio Leos will be getting that custom trophy from Jake Robbins. One-of-a-kind custom trophy. You can only win that by going out to battle here. And which team, Andy, will be getting the biggest chunk of that cold, hard cash? Over 23,000 euros going out. All right, we are just a minute away from finding out who our top winners will be. I am just gonna grab a few words right here. This is not with our winner, but this is with one of the competitor. I got Boyd Hilder in the house. Boyd, as team captain out here, what was your approach coming into the Battle of Hastings as far as selecting your team?
100%. I was bringing the homies, you know, the boys from down under, all low-key killers, now killing it out here.
It's very cool to see your riding and your approach. Now, when you had a selection and you said, hey, I could choose mates from all around the world, how are you able to decide only 3 riders? Because I know you have so many different friends and you had to pick 3 riders to join you. What was your process like?
I pretty much knew straight away. I knew. I had them all in mind already. I was like, Aussie boys all the way.
Well, definitely very psyched to watch you ride out there. I also want to say congratulations, winning your first ever Nora Cup Award. Such a big thing to see and to be there and witness. You actually won the Reader's Choice Award. What is that experience like, knowing that riders around the world cheered you on to give you that award?
Oh, it's insane. I'm so thankful. Just thanks to everyone for voting me. Fuck yeah.
It's very exciting and cool to see. I got to ask you, what's next for you, Boyd?
Beers.
Right, beers. Well, we're cheering you on. Hope that you get in that first place, but we're going to find out in a moment.
I just found out, ladies and gentlemen, the judges have decided. And this award presented by Mark and Rich Moore, step at front line. These guys, by the way, let's hear from Mark and Richard Moore, ladies and gentlemen. The brains are behind the Source BMX. Ladies and gentlemen, the judges decided the winner of the Battle of Hastings 2019. Please make some noise for Team Sergio Leos. We're gonna do the proper awards with all the 5 guys, all the 5 teams in just a moment. Can I get all the team members from Team Sergio Leos on the deck, please? Can I get all the team members, Simone, Tom Justice, and Courage Adams?
Well, Andy, we are going to go down and get a few words from our team captain. Sergio Leos is holding this one-of-a-kind trophy from Jake Robbins. Sergio, congratulations. You've got fans watching around the world. What has this experience been like for you at the Battle of Hastings?
Well, for me, after last year, just being here, it was more than an honor. It was like, I don't know, just being here, making it to the finals, it was like winning. And now I just can't believe it. I'm so happy. I don't know, I have no words.
Well, we're very excited and honored for you. I want to ask, and I know everyone wants to know this, what was your approach like selecting your fellow warriors to go to battle with you?
Well, I always liked how Tom Justice rode. I never met him before 2 months ago. And I just love his writing on social media. And I sent him a message. I was like, do you want to be in my team? And he straight said yes. And then obviously, like, I ride with Courage at home. And obviously it was my choice for a street. And then I was like, other riders that I like, obviously Simone. And the way he approaches streets is, for me, it's amazing. And I called him. He didn't want it to come. That's true. He didn't want it to come, but I just put his name down, and he had to come. So I'm just happy, yeah.
Well, that is definitely a true team captain going into battle, getting your riders out there. Let's put our hands together one more time for Sergio Leos. Sergio, any final words to all the riders watching at home?
Well, just thank you for being there. Like, it's an honor to have such a crowd, you know, watching from home, from all over the world, and all the kind messages. Like, thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much. It's appreciated watching you ride out in battle. Back to you, Scotty and Chris. The energy here is electric.
All right, and all the other riders, all the other teams don't go anywhere because we're still going to do the awards right here for the people in the house here at the Source BMX Park. Courage, Simo, come over here. We're still going to do the awards, including the checks. So all the teams do not go anywhere. In the meantime, the paparazzis are getting those shots. All right. How are we looking, Daryl? We got some more results to announce.
We are just a moment away, Andy, from finding out our top 5 teams in order. Team Sergio Leos took the top honors. So cool to have our broadcast, thanks to Vero, going out around the world. So we were able to present that 2019 Battle of Hastings trophy designed by Jake Robbins. Do not go anywhere because we are about to find out all of our finishers. Andy, we have several awards going out. We are just a few moments away, but I gotta give a big thanks to Monster, Vans, Vero, BSD, Cambion, Cinema, Eclaw, Fly Bikes, GT Bikes, Odyssey, ProTech, We the People. So cool to have all of our sponsors out here helping make the 4th annual Battle of Hastings possible. As I said, that this is the 4th annual, so I am getting word that we are going to be doing a 5th annual. The date for next year's event will be 2020, September 10th through 13th, Andy. That means we will be back in this building next year as we anxiously await for the order of our top finishers and where that $23,000 is gonna go. Andy, I gotta tell you, that was an unreal final. To watch all of our warriors out on the battlefield and put down, we saw such a variety of riding styles out there.
You know what, Daryl, after yesterday and walking away back to the hotel yesterday before we got freshened before Nora Cup, I didn't actually think that today how possibly all those riders that qualify could step it up a notch. And those guys, those 5 teams, Isaac Lesser, Boyd Hilder, Paley, Ryan, Lewis Mills, and Sergio Leos, those 5 team captains gathered their teams and they came out swinging today. Super impressive riding. This building have seen one or the other world's first, that I like to call them, in this building. This building have never seen, not to mention, probably one of the most outrageous moves this building has ever seen. The biggest fufanu by Tom Justice.
Andy, we are a moment away from finding out all of our awards. Again, we had the monster moment going on. That was the monster wall ride. Any rider that did a trick up there throughout the course of the weekend was eligible for that award. All right, Hastings. Hastings, as we were saying, we have a couple of different awards going out. Andy, we had our monster moment. That involved our monster wall ride throughout the course of the weekend. Any rider that wound up throwing down a big trick throughout the course of the weekend was eligible. And right now, Andy, we've got our monster moment winner. He traveled super fast, gapped up with a feeble Smith to bars, Give it up for Boyd Hilder!
What a massive ballsy move. Can you give me a hezzy before you do that? My heart just skipped a beat. Jeez. There you go, Boyd Hilder, ladies and gentlemen. Philo Smith bars on that Monster Energy wall, the Monster moment. And we keep that good vibes going, Daryl.
All right, well, since this is a Riders Rider event, because we had the 12-team captains and they all selected their favorite rider to be a part of the event, this is one of the most coveted awards, Andy, because you were chosen by your peers. The Riders Rider Award goes to Boyd Hilder! The Riders Rider going to Boyd Hilder. Boyd, stand loud and proud right there. Big ups to Boyd Hilder getting those two events back to back. All right, well, Andy, we are going to announce teams 5 and 4, and then we're going to have our top 3 teams come up. Coming in 5th place, rocking out on the battlefield with all of his athletes. Give it up for Team Isaac Lesser! Coming in 4th place. Hands together for Team Boyd Hilder! All right, I am going to report you to duty to come on up. 3rd place goes to Team Dan Paley. Sam Jones, Alex Donachie, Alex Hyam, and Dan Paley, come on up. Yeah, hands together one more time, Team Dan Paley. All right, well, coming in 2nd place, and we are going to page them up to the awards stage right here. Hands together for Team Lewis Mills. Lewis Mills is Dan Lacey, Garrett Reynolds, and Bruno Hoffman. €5,000. Hands together one more time, Team Lewis Mills. Last and certainly not least, we are calling them back up to the stage. You know them, you love them, Team Sergio Leos. Simone Baracco, Courage Adams, and Tom Justice. One more time, Team Sergio Leos. All right, well, we do have one more award. All right, I am just getting confirmation right here because this rider actually did two of the most badass tricks in the competition. He is up for the Vero BMX Best Trick. He's riding for Team Brian Kaczynski. You saw him pull out of the monster vert wall and transfer all the way into the bowl. Give it up for Morgan Wade. Big ups to Morgan Wade, hands together. All right, I'd like to take a moment and say big thank you to all of our sponsors. Much love to Monster and Ryan Franklin. Much appreciation to Vero, that's John and Jonathan. Vans being off the wall since 1966. Much love to our companies, BSD, Cambion, Cinema, Eclaw, Fly Bikes, GT, Odyssey, ProTech, Profile, and We the People. Want to give a huge special thanks to my partner in crime on the microphone. Give it up for Andy Zeiss.
Thank you guys so much. Always a pleasure. You guys are welcoming Daryl and myself with open hearts. I'll see you at the courtyard or at Brass Monkey later.
I can't possibly thank these next three men enough. Let's put our hands together for the Source Brothers, Mark and Rich Moore. Keep that round of applause going for Tom Creasy, Matt, and all of the Source staff for welcoming us for one hell of an event. Big thank you to Akeem Kudrowski for making the event organizing competition possible. Much gratitude to our judges, Mortiz Nussbaumer, Dave Cleworth, Trey Jones, Ruben Alcantara, Axel Jurgens, and head judge Mark Losi. Want to give a special thanks to my man Alfie for keeping us on time and scheduled. Big ups to Danny for keeping us organized and letting us know what is going on. Gonna keep that gratitude pumping to our DJ, Jenny20 over there. And we are keeping our thank you list going because we want to make sure that we do not leave anyone out. Our sound tech, Orlando, for keeping us pumping, feeling good. Gonna give thank you to Our BMX for bringing Norick up here for one more year. Gotta give a lot of love to the city of Hastings. We're talking about the locals at the trails, talking about Ricky Rat and also the Sidley Woods riders. But most importantly, thank you to all the riders and all the fans because you guys helped make Battle of Hastings possible. My name is Daryl now. Much love, and until next year, let's keep the party going. Peace out, Hastings.
Hastings, can I please get a big round of applause for my brother, Daryl, now?
I was great. He was shit.
Riders ready, watch the gate.
We started riding BMX when we were about 5 years old. It was just fun to us, going to the track and tearing around.
Basically everywhere we travelled was because of BMX.
It was sort of a family thing, was it? And then it was going away and camping.
When I was 14, we went to Australia.
I remember him getting third in the world.
Which sounds really good, but it's actually still quite lame.
He was pretty modest about it, I must admit.
When he came back from Australia, he was ill.
Mark basically quit college.
I used to bunk off school.
Dad suggested that we put our money into starting a bike shop, basically to give Mark a job. Mark came up with the name of Sauce.
Sauce. And I was like, sauce. I thought it was like spelled tomato sauce.
It's just rad that there was a BMX shop by people that rode and that cared, so it was going to be good. There's always something crazy going on. Yeah, there's a church come up around the corner. We're going to move to that.
As soon as we saw it, we were like, yeah, like we've got to have this.
Get something in his head and just wouldn't let it go.
It was a big project, that one. Like for us it was, because we'd never built a bowl.
That was awesome.
Oh my God, we've made something ridiculous again, and it looks like it's going to be loads of fun.
I remember Rich going, we'll never outgrow this place.
It still amazes me that it was there all this time, almost like waiting for us.
Walking into this crazy space underground.
Hundreds of years old, pretty much under the sea. It could go wrong. We don't know what we're going to uncover.
It's quite fabled that there used to be a skate park there in the 70s.
Blows me away that that has been underground for 20 years and nobody knew.
There's so many worrying times for like Mark and Rich.
The condition of it was beyond economical repair.
Something comes up, they go full on at it and they want to give it 100%.
We needed something that's world class.
Everything we do comes from the simple want to have fun on our bikes. So everything we build is for that same reason.